some reason, it is impossible to seemingly for them to admit it.
And hello, everyone.
Hello.
We're back. It's 4 days, four days until the expansion reveal.
We're almost there.
Yep, absolutely. 4 days until we find out the Dragonflight with all the pre-order bonuses that we absolutely know about, despite Blizzard encrypting them because people are just too ahead of the game these days.
Yeah. Massive
yeah.
surprise. I
Yep.
have no idea what's coming.
Absolutely.
Oh, man. Absolutely. Yeah, okay. So, obviously not a great deal of news has happened because the expansion is on Tuesday, but we do have a few fun things to talk about.
And honestly, despite there being, obviously who's going to start getting, making a bunch of news, there's definitely been enough happened. That's interesting. The warload doesn't stop, to be honest. But yeah.
Yep.
Yes, we are going to stream the reveal. Danilo will probably schedule that on Monday at some point, but we'll probably be live like half an hour before the reveal.
Yeah, like 4:15, 4:30 BST that day. Basically, if 30 minutes before Warcraft goes live, we'll be live, same place.
Yep, doing some interesting stuff that we definitely have planned, absolutely.
Yes,
and not just
rigorous planning.
Absolutely. But yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's a good point, Frankie. I wouldn't bet against it being Dragonflight, but at the same time, if it wasn't, it would be really funny. And I kind of hope that.
Fucking hilarious.
I kind of hope that. Does that part of me is just like, man, if Dragonflight's the mobile game, they still for some reason made it a premium mobile game and are selling those heroic and epic editions for some reason, and that's what all the pre-order bonuses are for. But the expansion is completely different. That's the kind of thing. I don't think Blizzard have the agility or like the acuity to be that kind of much of a troll, but I'd love that to pieces. It'd be wonderful.
Yeah, no, that'd be
It'd be excellent.
Man, Battle Brother Osev, thank you for joining. Man, yeah, so we do have fun things to talk about, and I'm looking forward to next week. It'll be fun.
Yep, absolutely.
So,
it's that thing where it doesn't matter what happens, it will be fun. It could be the greatest expansion announcement we've ever seen, fun. It could be the worst, also fun. Anywhere in the middle, I think people would find ways to make it fun. But also, I don't want to say like I'm super hyper excited because it's just an expansion announcement, but it's kind of like a big pivoting turning point in my opinion of the devs.
yeah. I am excited.
Yeah,
no, I don't know why. It happens. It wells up in you. Yeah, man. Okay, so in a move that is absolutely, thoroughly, in no way connected to World of Warcraft Dragonflight TM, pre-purchase the Dulux Super Mega Heroic Edition soon. We do have encrypted back pieces, 5 of them, and they're not on the 9.2.5 PTR. They're on the 9.2 live retail build, right? Which, kind of just means they pop the encryption key and these things will be decrypted.
Yeah, and then we can buy them.
Golly, I wonder if that'll have anything to do with a few days' time. Yes. Right. They have added 5 new encrypted 3D back pieces. How many Dragonflights are there?
Let me think. There's the red, the blue, the green, the black, and the bronze, and the twilights, and the infinites, and the chromatic. So there's 8.
Of Dragonflights that are actually Dragonflights, there are 5.
Yeah.
So, obviously, right? These are probably inspired by the Murloc backpack.
Yeah.
And they'll just have a dragon whelp.
Yeah, there's a lot of at least one person on Twitter is rationalized that based on like information on file size and stuff like that. So almost certainly whelps. But.
Yeah. Another very interesting thing is the encryption key. That's also an interesting thing. But anyway, right. So these, we don't know if they are dragon themed, but what comes in 5s? I don't know. Maybe it's the 5 keys. light the master or open the door and the 5 torches and unlock the master's path. Remember all that.
Or
The 5s.
yeah.
There, the keys are a pre-order bonus.
Well, I mean, obviously you're talking about the 5 torches light the way. The 5 sigils, maybe? Was it? That's it? We're going to have like floating covenant sigils on our back?
That is what I call epic.
Indeed.
But hey, you know that whole 5 bing bongs that light the way of the dudes? That old prophecy thing?
Yeah.
I mean, what if that is the firstest ones? What if that is the thing that the Chuckler was very worried about, as we found out in the Death Cinematic? Wouldn't that be something?
Indeed.
Yes, but let's not do lore theories for now. Anyway, then Samaya pointed out it looks like there are 2 different models of the backpack, each with 5 colors, all encrypted, not just one. Who knows what it could be? Technically 10 backpacks if you count in the recolors. The other thing pointed out, this has the same encryption key as the one that gives you the asset labeled 9FX Drake Mount Emerald buff.
Yep.
Huh. Matt, could that be a pre-order dragon?
I don't know. Is there any point in history they've announced an expansion and also a pre-order and also given you a mount and also given you a transmog set at the same time and also given you a boost? I don't know.
Shadowlands?
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah, in other words, the hello, it's a new quarter. Can we please have 100 quid each from all of you? Thank you very much. That'll look great for us.
AKA how to hack yourself to be able to saying we've got the fastest selling PC game of all time in day one. Because that's not day one sales. That's sales through to day one, including pre-orders.
Yeah.
And if we think about World of Warcraft, the business model, they have very much been doing a good job of driving pre-orders in the last while. So moving from Legion to BFA, we of course, well, actually, even on Legion, you got early access as a Demon Hunter.
Oh, yeah, so you did, yeah.
But Legion to BFA, you would unlock the allied races that you'd already mostly earned in the game.
Yeah, because I absolutely, as soon as that happened, I pre-ordered BFA for the Life Force Journey, 100%.
Of course you did.
Bastards.
Yeah. So they did that for BFA. For Shadowlands, they immediately gave you like a mount and a transmog in game. So it absolutely follows that, that these similar things will be going on.
Oh, yeah, that's right. In Shadowlands, they didn't give you a transmog and a mount. They gave you a mount that gave you a quest that had you grind stuff out to get the transmog.
Yep. Now, Z, who is a developer who makes some really cool shit, said they did a bit of digging. The BLPs are 256 by 512 plus alpha, which is the same as the Murloc backpack. The M2 size is... Wait, what? Greater than equals a complex animation embedded? What?
Yeah, so it's saying
the skin file is 52 kilobytes, which is 2.5 times larger than the Covenant cloaks, but 0.9 times the size of the Murloc backpack. So that's basically saying that, compared to the Covenant cloak, this one is, way more complex, and it's similar to the Murloc backpack, which, I mean, look at the backpack, it's the amount of textures and animations and all that it has, it's a more complex thing. So, Baby Welt. Baby Welt backpack.
Yep.
I think that's probably going to happen.
Yeah, and then the best thing to do is, this is just completely pure cynical. You have to pre-order. You get to pick one of the backpacks with the base pre-order. If you want all of them, you have to go up to the Heroic or Epic Edition.
Ooh.
Oh, God.
Now for some other things like, new encrypted Dragonkin pets, perhaps. Combining the likelihood of at least one of the 2 related encrypted pets being a Dragonkin with more work by Patford, I want to speculate that we might be getting a backpack, a pet, and a mount. Yep. Super speculative.
Makes sense.
But there is a not yet enabled or implemented pet species ID, which was discovered here over on the Twitter. And they do have these: Heroic Leap, Draconic Remedy, Ancient Blessing, Cauterized Flame Breath, and Trihorn Charge. I wonder.
Yep.
Now there's another thing. What is this, Towley? What is this, Towley? Okay, so we know it checks out because, of course, it is a phone photo of a monitor. Oh, that's how you know it's a true leak.
That font makes it look a little bit... We're talking like Morrowind level, like...
Yeah, that font is... That's not the font they use.
Nope.
No, so I don't think that's real. However, right, so What does he say? Is this real? The idea might be. But it just seems like anima power window reshaped. We complain about systems not moving. Not moving to the next expansion, and well, Unleashed, pick whatever aspect. Pick whatever aspect, Covenant style you want, just to be right from day one. Yeah, so there's a bunch of the leaks, probably fake leaks, who knows, that basically say that they're doing Covenants again, but for the Dragonflights, but with no player power. Certainly, I think that there's something we're going to have to say at some stage about this whole idea of let's just make 4 massive bits of content, but you only do one in your character. I feel like for many people, that just makes the end game that they can realistically experience feel a hell of a lot smaller. It's almost as if people want to experience that kind of like full end game on their main, but then their alt character is something that perhaps exists more for just gameplay options or maybe regrinding another class to play it.
Yeah,
so,
that's
interesting things.
That's definitely the thing where I feel like that's where a lot of people go, especially with like until they account wide reps. If they can account wide exalted reps, that'll be a decent step for people to play more alts. But right now, I think people are like, they like their main. Well, this is most people. Obviously, there are exceptions. Obviously, I know a lot of people really like a couple of different characters. But generally, I think people have one main. And I'm the same, where my Paladin's done so much throughout Mists, Warlords, Legion, BFA, and Shadowlands that playing a Druid, this patch makes me feel a little bit weird sometimes. Because I just look at the rep and I'm like, oh yeah, you haven't actually done that much as expansion. That feels a bit bad. So it's like, I think that's sort of the play pattern. I don't know if they identify, well, it's the usual thing of they see maybe people doing Covenant campaigns and alts and go, oh, clearly people like that, but they kind of don't because they're doing it for system reason. Yeah. I think, but yeah.
Yes, that is the bit that, I'm not super sure. Sorry, just looking at chat. Right. So look, this is almost certainly not real. This image, but it's something that has featured in numerous leaks. All right, so what does this all mean? It means something dragon related is perhaps more likely. I mean, given that it's tied to a dragon effect, given those pet abilities and everything, I really do think it's dragons. I mean, Blizzard even put... And now if they were doing red herrings, like if they were doing a masterful game of red herrings, they would just put that into their own site. They would use a bronze dragon as the banner image for their April Fool's Day joke. Yeah. They would do all of those things. But they haven't really done that in the past. And I don't really think they would do that now.
No, it was even... I can't remember who it was. Was it maybe Caden, I think? Was saying like that's not a thing like anyone's ever done in terms of working in media at all. It's like that's not something he's ever heard of or seen. So I think that's a case of likely not. It'd be really cool. It's a great idea, but it just doesn't happen, especially not in companies of that size. Not at all.
Now then, for the next thing, right, the expansion reveal stuff, all the info you need. So the next expansion is going to be revealed 9 a.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. Central European Standard Time, April 19th. So next Tuesday, that is when we are going to be getting the big news, right? So, what I would expect here is a full new cinematic, because they've tended to do those, with the actual announcement event. The big question, though, is what is the format going to be? Because if you look at this, it says YouTube, Twitch. Now, with 9.2, they just dropped a YouTube video.
Yeah.
And... that's one way of doing it, but is that really going to get all the hype? And more importantly, is it going to be in alignment with player expectations? Because this is the thing that I think their marketing people really have to think about. If they just do like a quick little VOD thing and then it's done, then I don't really think this would be a particularly successful event. Because I think what players really want, and the way that players feel right now, is there's a lot of ambiguity. They're not really sure about the state of the game. They really want to know what direction the game is going to be going in. I think there's just a lot of, actual fear and anxiety over it. Yeah. So I think what they need to do is, get everybody to, really excited with the big cutscene or whatever. But I do think there has to be like an hour-long dev, deep dive presentation.
Yeah,
there has to be a Q&A. I think those usual BlizzCon trappings.
It needs to be that.
That's what would be ideal. I don't think we're going to get as much as we would get at a BlizzCon, though. I really don't.
Not as much because we tend
think
to
we'll have
get
to get
those
something.
we get those big panels and stuff where it's like, hey, obviously we're not going to get like a Q&A and all that kind of stuff, but I think we will at least get a long targeted presentation. Especially the reason I'm thinking that is the reason I kind of think it's definitely the case is because of what Jeff Liu had tweeted. That's his name, right? Yeah, the UI designer. Yeah,
UI guy.
because Jeff Liu tweeted this is what I'm looking forward to seeing what I've been working on for the couple months.
That's a great point.
So there's almost certainly a case of we will get to see UI in game, which means it's not going to be a cinematic and drop. It's likely going to have the feel of a what's next panel at BlizzCon.
Yeah, so we'll probably get that. We'll probably get the actual gameplay trailer, because usually you get those as a double whammy.
Yeah.
And then we'll probably get like a proper,
Yeah.
proper chat through it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to think of everything else. There's something I had to say, but I can't remember if I yeah. Anyway, we'll almost definitely see stuff, but it'll be a lot more than this. I mean, you wouldn't have viewing parties for a YouTube video that drops. You wouldn't go to
Actually,
that length.
yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they even have here viewing parties at somewhere called Meltdown. Meltdown and Kappa bars in Europe. Interesting to know those existed. Neat.
Yeah, there's
We don't have them here.
not here in the UK, yeah, but not here.
People used to watch Dota at Lavery's, but I don't
Oh,
think
yeah.
that's
Oh,
I
that
don't
was-
think that's something that happens anymore.
That was great.
Anyway, so that's pretty cool, and that's basically what to expect. So we'll probably get most of what we get at a BlizzCon, which means exciting, and probably they'll have a nice chunky stream for you tomorrow. Plenty of videos on all the channels and stuff like that to follow up on. Of course,
Not
as well.
tomorrow.
Not tomorrow.
We're not time
Tuesday.
travelers.
Whoops.
Yes. Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Not much crazy analysis to do other than there we have it. That's the situation.
Yeah.
So look,
yeah.
I'm excited. Fuck it. It's a WoW expansion announcement. I'm excited. I just am.
Yeah, it's that kind of I'm thinking about Wrath Classic. That's the thing. Where I don't know if they'll because if they want to make this a big event, do they make it a big event where, hey everyone, we're going to sit down and talk about the next expansion for an hour, then we're going to go in for an hour into Wrath Classic, or we'll get something else for you after and announce that kind of, because I don't think they need to talk too much about Wrath Classic. They just need to go. Here's the opening cinematic upscaled with AI and looking very nice. Here's the date, and everyone will just clap because it's Arthas, and rightly so. So I think they'll get away with being able to fire that in as well. But I don't know. It's that kind of PR strategy thing where you're thinking, do you want to have this overwhelming torrent of good news, or do you want to, ration your good news so you can hit for hold the news cycle for a couple of weeks? I don't know.
For what they need,
Yeah.
I think it just has to be boom.
Yeah.
Now, the only thing that maybe could happen is maybe Wrath Classic won't be talked about tomorrow. Perhaps they will instead.
Of course it won't be
or
talked
not
about tomorrow.
Oh, I've done it again. Tuesday.
You're really excited.
Maybe they would hold it back for May.
Maybe.
The reason why I say that is because they might want to sandwich that in with the Warcraft mobile game.
Yeah. That
A
would
bit like Elder Scrolls Blades.
I think that would only be if they don't have faith in the mobile game, which is the awkward part where if they know ahead of time they need to sandwich the mobile game news, then why are they announcing the mobile game at all? I guess. But obviously it's because, if it's something that's freemium and monetizable for a different market, they'll have to do the same with Immortal, just without getting dragged through the mud by Red Shirt Hero.
They'll need a way to just come out the gate and be like, hey, here's a fucking great mobile game. It's not going to be full of bullshit. You should be excited about it. Look how cool it just looks.
Yeah.
And that's going to be, for this audience, a challenge. And I definitely say that. I think being somebody who is more welcoming of a mobile game than average, at least in the kind
Recently,
of
especially,
WoW skeptical crowd.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, because obviously, everyone can see exactly what, what Blizzard at their worst would think is a good Warcraft mobile game is just some form of Candy Crush that's designed to just squeeze money out of people. But then there's the version of it that's like, here's Diablo Immortal accepting the fact that it was announced horribly and terribly and is also still like a monetization trap for, the kind of Lost Ark style East Asian monetization stuff. It's like the game itself is, by all accounts, actually very good to play. So they can do that, but temper it for Warcraft and announce that basically they just need to go, here it is, it looks great.
Yeah.
I think that'll work, but
Like,
I think that's more likely than it to be what people are afraid of ultimately.
yeah, I think they know they're playing with fire. And like from my perspective, I'm happy to play a game that's good on my phone.
Yeah.
Like ultimately, if the game is good, then I'm happy enough, I guess. Now, an interesting thing that's going on here,
Yes.
a new bit of news. There is apparently an experimental gameplay team for World of Warcraft at Blizzard.
Yes.
And I think this is something that we weren't particularly sure about. Actually, no, before I do that topic, Dakor actually said here that they are recruiting class and combat designers and dungeon environment artists, which maybe suggests the mobile game will be pretty substantial.
Yep. Or
Could be cool.
Or that could be, it depends on the stage of the development, because I would imagine they'd want to avoid a Diablo Immortal, which is, here's the game, oh shit, we won't release it for 4 years. I imagine they'll want the mobile game to be like this year, because that's what the call said, wasn't it?
I
There's one due
believe
this
so,
year.
yeah.
So I assume, now obviously it might just be like, they're hiring up again for like post-launch content and stuff.
Yeah.
But there is, to me, it feels like if you're hiring like senior designers for this and making it public for the first time, this might be like a further, like the second Warcraft mobile game, as opposed to the first one that's happening. Or it might be, honestly, it's kind of hard to say, but there is at least a mobile game that is full of class-based combat and dungeon design and stuff like that. So we're, likely not a World of Warcraft. Well, maybe World of Warcraft Combat Lite, because obviously how many times have people said, can we have a World of Warcraft arena-based game? Obviously, they wouldn't do it pure PvP, but like a PvE version of that, where it's like, here's World of Warcraft combat at its finest, but downscaled and a little bit more accessible. Almost like Heroes of the Storm did really well.
Yeah, honestly, Crystalline Conflict, like the way that it changes, I'm just going to have to talk about Crystalline Conflict for so much today, because the new PvP mode in FF14 is one of those fun things I played in like maybe years.
It's incredible.
It's fucking incredible. It's insane.
It's so good. It's like, it's a thing where it's not going to replace, because obviously, a lot of people moving to FF from WoW, because WoW's not doing so hot at the minute. A lot of their complaints are like, well, this doesn't feel quite as open and like nice because there's no PvP, or there's no world PvP. It's not like a replacement for WoW PvP in any sense, but it is just a really super compelling, small scale PvP mode. And excellent.
The thing that it shows class design wise though, because if you take all the buttons a red mage has, which is like loads of buttons, they condense it down into 4 core combat buttons for PvP. Like the PvP class or job literally plays differently. It's way more like simplified down to be almost feel more like a MOBA toolkit, and it just feels fucking incredible. It's like they've doubled down on all of the strengths of a red mage that makes a red mage cool. Yeah. So that shows that these kind of like, delicious, tasty reductions of a class, that actually can, feel pretty damn good.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually, if people in chat have played Heroes of the Storm, let me know if you largely agree, because as Mehmet and who's it, Nick said, it's like Blizzard's best game. It feels so good to play.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'll ever forget. I mean, I've played quite a bit of it, but maybe about a year ago, a little while after Valera was added, I remember hopping in and just doing some of the training mode with Valera. And I was like, oh my, this is a rogue. This is everything I want and need and expect from a World of Warcraft rogue, but with 5 buttons. How have they? This is incredible. I just remember thinking that, like, it's exactly what I was thinking about playing Crystal Conflict. It's this like reduction of just, here is the condensed form of the fantasy of playing this, but it's so much more accessible to get into than having to level a rogue and gear it for arena. Obviously, there's more complexity in World of Warcraft than there is in Heroes in terms of how you use your buttons, but it's just a great version of that.
A HOTS battle right would be so good.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's the other comparison I have for Crystal Conflict. It's just, it feels a little battle ready, and you're going, okay, press button, queue up, game launches, in you go, have fun for a couple minutes with really like kind of intense stuff with a couple buttons. Great.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So to our next bit of news then, the interesting thing with the new experimental gameplay team, which I didn't know that existed, but pretty cool to hear.
Yep.
So yeah.
It is mostly classic people, which is interesting, but...
So here's this. Super excited to say I'm working on a new experimental gameplay team. Can't speak much in details yet, but we're looking for gameplay and UI engineers to help us on our journey. Please retweet for Signal Boost. So this is from Orlando Salvatore, who is a classic WoW senior software engineer. Now, man, it's just interesting because I'm thinking like what I've wanted for the longest time is Classic Plus. Basically a WoW Classic that doesn't end in the same way that RuneScape, old school RuneScape is like, it gets active development with the old school ethos. I just think that's so cool. Yeah. So that's what I'd love, but I'm not saying that's what's happening. It's just they have this team. Yep. So yeah, right. Software engineer, experimental gameplay. The engineer for this project can take inspiration to reality from features, infrastructure, to tools and more to build new gameplay. What you will do: design and develop solutions for experimental gameplay direction for the World of Warcraft game. Understanding of World of Warcraft gameplay and systems. And of course, all the usual things you would expect for a role like that. Then also, we have a senior software engineer for UI on World of Warcraft. Again, for our experimental gameplay team. Yeah. We're on a quest to iterate for the best experience and to look at interactions and gameplay from new angles. That kind of says Classic Plus to me, but that could just be some hopium.
I don't think it's copium, and there are two reasons that once you're done with this spiel, I'll actually talk about it.
Yum, yum. Oh, he's got me excited.
Don't have the clip prepared. I'll try to get it when you talk.
Sure. Work with designers and other engineers to establish a shared vision for compelling UI features focused on experimental gameplay. What could that be? Do they look at the, what's it called? Aversion. Version were like Ascension, that's it. Do they look at Ascension and think, holy fuck, look what they're doing?
That's one of the things I was going to touch on, where like the speed that Ascension can implement features, the relative quality it seems they implement them, and also the sheer variety of stuff, where it's like, I signed up for it. I haven't really played it, but I signed up for it, and I just get emails occasionally because I like to track. And I just get an email like, here's TBC Mythic Plus. I'm like, what? Okay, sure. And then looked at the Keystone UI, and I'm like, that's certainly better. Interesting. They seem to just be, and that's why I think the fact that it's experimental UI and not just gameplay, it implies to me that it's very different, which to me seems like, if you want a season of mastery that's season of freedom and you can cross-class, that's exactly how you would begin to set this up.
And this really does seem to be a classic team thing, because we've got, this tweet from Orlando. We've got a lead producer also talking about my team's looking for some super awesome people. A technical designer, again, on WoW Classic. So it's all WoW Classic people who are really talking about this. Yep. What could these be then? That is the big thing. Okay, so that's the big thing. Just trying to see if you've got anything teed up. Oh, yes, the Towley clip.
Yep.
I've heard tale of this clip.
Yep. So this is you're saying Classic Plus.
So should I go straight into Towley?
Yep, go for it.
All right.
Right now, what I can tell you, and this is me from information that I've had for like a while.
Can they hear this?
That's a good point. It depends on where. No, because you're piping your audio through, so we can't. Okay, cool.
It's okay. We'll just come down here together, everyone.
This is not going to work.
This Wrath is going to be like unleashed. It's going to be Wrath Unleashed. It's going to be like Wrath Classic Plus. Some crazy shit is going to go down with Wrath. I think Wrath, like from like a metrics and like subscriber standpoint, is going to probably decimate the shit out of Classic and BC once you see what they're going to fucking do. It's going to be insane.
Yep.
No idea if that worked.
Yeah, it did. Yep.
Yeah, good. Yep. I mean, physics sort of says it should.
Yeah.
Considering these are my vibrations and that's Towley's vibrations.
Yep, indeed.
Yep.
Yeah, so obviously...
big. Give me that. Give me some of that.
I mean, obviously, Toddy could just be a copium dealer here, or a hopium dealer, whatever way, but generally speaking, he generally knows, and no one cares that he does stuff like this because it works for Blizzard a lot of the time. He doesn't actually leak details. He just kind of gives little hints and stuff.
Yeah.
But almost certainly, it's like, if there's, as Dacker says, standard Towley hype, KW, but so many things are coming here that this is why there could be, like, this experimental gameplay team could be, I mean, this is the awkward part, right? Because they're only set up or only seemingly hiring up now, it might be a while before stuff happens. But he could have heard a lot of plans of, like, this is what we're going to do for Wrath. We're going to actually try to make this one work, because TBC didn't, largely. So
yeah, that's interesting. Like, I know Towley gets a load of shit, but he's been pretty honest about thinking Shadowlands is not great.
Yeah.
I mean, at least in the past, I haven't checked in, but had been. So that's interesting.
Indeed.
Look, if there was Classic plus Classic, I'd be very excited about. You see a Classic plus Wrath of the Lich King, though. Imagine if it was taking the trio of Warcraft 3 direct follow-up expansions, and then the Classic plus bit is just on top of all of them, and they're shared. Right? So imagine if it's a Classic plus Wrath of the Lich King, but you could still do shit in Eastern Kingdoms Kalimdor, still do shit in TBC, still do shit in Wrath. That would be so cool.
And that's,
Like,
I think...
that would be... That would basically be like the ultimate version of original Azeroth.
Yeah.
And if they wanted to, keep the ending and all of that, but then just flesh out the state of the world before Cataclysm, I just think people would really like that.
Yeah, and it would also
cool.
it would also provide either a split point or a reason for them to go, we're not doing classic Cata. We know what happened when we released Cata the last time, and our subs can't go any lower than that, so no thank you. So I think that's it would be hard and probably take a long time for the experimental gameplay team to do that, and also the experimental, well, depends on what Dragonflight ends up being, but it would feel weird if they were trying to kind of revive the old world in two different games at the same time. I feel like Blizzard would go, why are we doing this twice? What's happening? Because obviously the tech would be so different, but...
Perhaps it would be Classic Wrath of the Lich King with a bunch of nice changes, and then they announce, and we're continuing this one onwards like this, and the experimental team that is being staffed up now is working on that project, which won't come to fruition for another year and a bit, until Arthas has been dead for a few months in Wrath Classic, maybe.
Yep.
Look, put it this way, if they executed on that, I'd be in. I'd be big in.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Well, I guess we can tell if Ascension goes down to a DMCA, then we know they're doing that. That's maybe the way to look at it, but yeah.
So that's very cool, very exciting.
Indeed.
Now, another thing, which is also actually, very cool, very exciting. Funny enough, it's the trailer for the MDI.
It slapped this so hard on.
So these trailers are not made by Blizzard. They are made in collaboration with IK Edit. Well, that's a tad much, sorry. Anyway, I just thought I'd, show like, hey,
so good.
It's a cool trailer. It captures all this shit really well. I mean, there's not too much else to say other than IK Edit made a really, really, really cool trailer. Even look at this, throwing a bit of the old creativity in, right?
I also saw a couple people, including Lace, talk about how this is definitely not just like there's definitely like access to Blizzard stuff here. This isn't just what they would usually use. There's a lot of really like bespoke stuff going on with Blizzard's help. So hopefully Blizzard see a lot of the positive response to this and go, holy shit, let's do a lot more of this.
Yeah,
with other people for for actual patch stuff. I'll throw the link into the chat real quick.
Yeah, like it makes sense, and I just think back, man, those Mists of Pandaria patch trailers were so good, and then they just like stopped doing them, right? And now we get these weird movie style trailers that are a minute and a half long instead of these trailers that are actually like really good bits of narrative. Yeah. So I'd love to see that older style come back, and I mean. It's just a really cool trailer. Yeah. So, not too much else to say, really, but we thought we'd absolutely give it a shout out.
Indeed.
So for the rest, I suppose there's the qualifying, tip 24 teams, apparently. There's the top 24. What's the format? Yeah, just, group stage, which goes into a global final. Prize breakdown, 30 grand per group, 300 grand at the global, the global finals, and an in-game watch party.
Get it? In-game? Very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
So, there you go. That's that for the MDI. All right.
Yep.
Next then, on the Wrath Classic topic, we have a survey.
Yep. This one's slightly less exciting than the idea of it being a Classic Plus, but sure, anyway.
Yeah, it's the sort of thing, look, companies, they just do this shit to work out how to position their products. But I saw this and thought, come on. There's, you're not going to get good data from these questions. Like, did you think that, Matt?
I don't know.
Well, just like some of them were like, how how much would you like to pay for this? Because
Oh,
a lot of the
yeah.
times people are just going to choose the cheapest option.
I imagine they have like a correction algorithm for that.
Oh,
Or
I
like
suppose
a
a bit like
correction
whenever people
yeah.
are doing like a epidemiological study and they
Yeah.
like have all the statistics they run and
Yeah.
things.
So I assume they're like, oh yeah, okay, so people are willing to spend up to 30% more than what they say, or something like that, and then they adjust for
Yeah.
that kind of thing. Maybe, I don't know.
So look, this is just coming down to they want to know how much they can monetize the shit out of this thing.
Yeah,
And
so it's a lot.
Yeah, and that's an interesting topic given they got fucking reamed, and rightly so, for what they did to TBC Classic, to the point where they had to issue price reductions
Yeah. Yep.
on things.
Big
Like
time.
they were forced to change. So if they go even more greedy than they did with TBC, like that would be kind of surprising.
I can't imagine it.
Anyway, so rated from extremely appealing to not appealing at all. They talk about having a mount from Wrath Classic usable in modern WoW.
No, I'm all right. Cheers.
Yeah. A character transfer, which allows you to move characters to other realms, different WoW accounts or BNet accounts.
Pretty sure that's already in there, but sure, you know.
Yep. Game time. So just including game time with the game, which I mean, that'd probably feel good to people. A mount from Wrath Classic usable in Classic. Come on, you're really juicing the pulp there, aren't you? A level 68 character boost. A Death Knight character boost.
That would be the. Can you imagine? Obviously, they're just doing this because they know a lot of people will say like some. Actually, no. Do they know? How many people click extremely appealing because they think it would be good, but don't think of the overall, and then realize like, hey, you can get a Death Knight at level 68 with the heroic edition of this.
Woo!
And everyone just starts screaming the top of their lungs, and rightfully so, because that would be bullshit.
So the next one, this is a weird one. Character level boost gift. Grant a friend a one-time boost for one of their characters. Gee, look at that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We had a big discussion on our the guild Discord about this and how completely stupid it is, but also how like technically it could be really, really strong for that. Like, hey, I know you wanted to play Wrath Classic, but didn't really want to play TBC Classic, and you're not leveled. But come on, bro. Ulduar back in the day was really cool. Well, I guess at this point it would be like Nax. Nax is really cool. Do you want to play? And everyone would go, yeah, that's. You know what? I've got a free weekend, and then the whole basically dealing drugs to your friends is kind of I think the thing they could maybe get away with that.
Yeah.
But then there's also actually because it's the same thing as the what do you call it? The same thing as the fucking recruiter friend. The recruiter friend stuff where it's like, hey, make sure to recruit a friend, and then just in very tiny print. By friend, we absolutely know you're just going to use your own account, so work away there, big man. So just, do you want a multi-box Wrath? Go for it. Fuck yeah.
Oh, yeah. I wonder how many people just recruited themselves and just
all
put a
of
whole
them.
year of sub in.
All of them.
Because I guess you put a year of sub in. I think you get 4 months of sub back out of that for your main account, and then of course you get all the transmogs and stuff.
Yep.
Okay. Also, pets and toys. Yep. Now, let's talk about how much money we're going to charge for these things. So, character level boost, option A is $49.99 or $49.99 or $29.99. So, character level boost, Death Knight level boost. I mean, if they were both the same price, that would be insane. Character level boost gift, $29.99. There you go. Of course, price it cheaper so that you can start to build that network effect as a vehicle of growth. Very smart. Character transfer, $29.99. Get fucked. Pets, $29.99. Get fucked. But again, this is just weird shit in a survey. Same for a toy. Yes, $49.99 for a toy. Sure thing, bro.
Absolutely.
So that's like, what is that? Yeah. A Wrath themed mount usable in classic WoW or modern WoW. I mean, that just breaks it. No, don't cross the streams. You can't do that.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I think they're going for it.
Oh man, if they do that, it's just going to feel a bit weird. And oh yes, there's the same in German.
Oh, yep. Yeah, so yeah, these are bundles, so it's like asking what kind of, what bundle, which of these bundles would you rather buy? But it's that thing where like, yeah, no? Well, I mean, I guess that shows their intent, right? Their intent is, yeah, you get a DK and your character up, because you like both of them, just $50.
Yeah.
The game is free, by the way. Just in
Yeah,
case you
so,
forgot, the game is free.
It's such a weird comparison.
Yeah.
It's like they never not do it with, they never not do the bundle with a level boost. It's always going to be there at $49.99.
Yeah.
Like, so they're always going to have a level boost. So it's like,
Indeed.
are these even comparisons? I don't get it. I don't know. It just feels kind of weird, but I suppose they're just doing all they can to,
Yep.
to work out what bundle would people actually be interested in. So I guess let's sort of answer this one decently honestly. If we were, put a gun to my head, option A or option B. I mean, because of the way that they want me to think in, time equals money, it's got to be option A. That makes the most sense. That seems to be the highest ROI based on time.
I would say I agree, if not for the fact that so much of the experience of Classic is actually leveling.
That's true, yeah.
It's a case where if I wanted to go into Wrath of the Lich King, I would just start leveling now, more or less. And I can actually half a little bit, although not quite as much, because I suppose I can tell the story. It's a very small one, but woke up. I think it was last Saturday.
Uh-oh.
And I was like, okay, yeah, well, it's like 9:30, 10 o'clock, whatever. Was I hungover? No, I wasn't. No, not on Saturday. I was like, okay, I'm fucking wrecked. I'm not going to be alive today for a bit. Okay, sweet. I'll log into some video game. Which video game? 6.1's not out yet. Okay, I'll play some Classic. And I was like, okay, yep. Was leveling a druid, a Night Elf druid on Hydraxian Waterlords. Because I was like, fuck it, RP Realms seem to be the chill ones. Went to Darnassus after like an hour or so. And I was like, okay, let's see what's on that. When I'm here, I'll go to the auction house, see what I can buy, because my weapon's garbage. I might as well see if there's some green that's fairly cheap. I think there were 13 or 14 weapons total on sale. There was no low level like herbs or anything. There's literally no mage royal. So I was like, oh my god, this must be the most dead server of all time. Obviously it was an RP server, and I think it's a very alliance heavy, but it was like, this auction house has nothing on it. Holy shit. And I just saw like, well then there's no point me leveling here if there's no people playing, because if I'm not going to get a group for dungeons, if I'm not going to get to go to BFD, what's the point? I was like, okay, sweet. Made a level 1 Draenei on Draenei Paladin on Firemaw, and the first thing I see is just the chat going fucking mental with boost sellers and boost buyers. And then I alt F4'd and just opened FF14. And that was like, my first choice was, I really want to play Classic because I want to get ready for Wrath of the Lich King Classic. And the first thing I get is dead server boosts. And I'm like, this isn't worth my time. Fuck this. That was my emotional reaction. Obviously not a completely logical one, but yeah, grim.
Yeah, it's
Grim.
like I'll have to ask Rory what his experience. I know he plays a lot of Classic. It's Rory in our team.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I've not kept up on any of the Classic servers, other than I know from Willie's video just how badly some of the TBC faction balance had been going. I don't know, like everyone in chat, what do you think? What's your server like in Classic?
Yeah, I see a lot of people say that everyone just left Attraction Waterlords, which completely makes sense. Because it was, when I say dead, that auction house had nothing on it.
Did it end up going like full alliance in the way the servers swing?
It was PvRP, but yeah.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
Just a dead server?
Yeah, just as Valisha and Nox was saying, yep, completely dead.
Wow.
Brutal, man. Brutal.
That's really rough.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's like, yeah, Ophidian, I do love FF14. It's not that I don't like World of Warcraft anymore. It's that
the story's literally you were trying to play WoW instead of
I was
FF.
trying to play it instead, and I didn't. But that's the case where, like, I do like World of Warcraft. It's just a lot of the time my emotional reaction to wanting to play is just I log in and something goes fuck off. I'm like, you said it, game, not me. You said it. It's the same with like the kind of it's like loot feels so kind of pointless to me on like actual Shadowlands stuff. I'm like, I wouldn't mind playing some prop pal. I'm like, I don't have to go, and I know it doesn't take very long to get legendaries, but it's still like I have to do a chore before I can play my paladin, and I just don't want to do that chore because I have limited enough time in the week.
Yeah, once you get used to the FF endgame gearing system, it feels it feels stingy going back.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, I guess that's really weird that on Classic they've just allowed it to be just left in such a state. Like, even regarding the quantity, lots of people talking about boosts in chat.
Yeah.
Like Val saying that you basically need an add-on to filter out the gold boosts.
Brutal, man.
Which, I mean, hey, great that add-on exists.
Yeah.
Probably makes it a hell of a lot better, but I mean, yeah, sure, you might have the add-ons of your chat might look clean,
Yeah.
but the actual discourse that would happen if everyone had a clean chat won't happen because most people won't have a clean chat unless most people have the add-on. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it does take 20 minutes and I can get one Stormcraft, but that's 20 minutes. I don't want to do a chore. If I had 20 minutes to do a chore, I'd do my laundry, I'd clean my room.
Yeah,
But I
some,
sit
task
down,
start friction.
Yeah, I sit down to play the game. It's like, man, this is not. And it's not even just like that. It's that every little negative experience compounds, and when there are other games that don't have negative like experiences that push me out, it happens. And it's not like I'm not trying to be like super like hyper editorial or anything like and try to push a point or something. It's how I feel when I'm playing the game, and it's kind of frustrating. I imagine it happens to a lot of people. Obviously, you can push through it if you like really want to, but that's the thing where it's alternatives kind of keep cropping up for me. It's awkward. I mean, with that attitude, you can call any game mechanic a chore, but it's a thing of it's literally I want to do X. There is a wall in my way. That's the problem.
Yeah, then some other games that wall doesn't exist because of how those games are designed.
Yeah.
Therefore, when it's this game versus that game, one game is in the game that doesn't have those walls, you can just immediately start doing the thing you want to do, and that's always going to be a strength that those games have. But that's all. I mean, that's also one of the things that has pushed the industry in a certain direction that maybe is not always good, because sometimes having a little bit of a fictitious experience like Classic was when Classic came out, that can be a positive thing on the grander scale. So it's a funny little thing with our modern brains in gaming.
Yep, indeed.
So, for this week's things going on in World of Warcraft, okay, we have extended maintenance on PTR until next week. Now, they're talking about there being an issue. There's an issue with the build. Definitely nothing related to the announcement.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who knows? Maybe it is related. Maybe this is completely true. Who the hell knows? Oh, actually, here's Ian saying, I wonder if there's a pre-purchase or expansion-related stuff. They need to test 9.2.5. See, you could wonder that, but those other things are in the 9.2 build. They're just encrypted.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing where, like, they could kind of just, what do you call it? Like, this is the thing where it's like, what's in the build they have to test? If you were hiding something, you wouldn't say, no build or we're keeping it down. You would just push a build that doesn't have that in it yet, and then push the build that has it next week. Or, just don't put it in the build till next week. But maybe there's something they're, like, testing internally, or, I don't know. Just felt a bit like, almost certainly pre-patch stuff, almost certainly, or expansion stuff rather.
Yeah, probably. So, hey, interesting. Now, next then.
Yep.
Legion M Plus is up. Funny, indeed. Legion M Plus seems to be in the MDI based on the trailer that IK Edit made, so that's kind of cool. I mean, man, there you go. What's important for some people, though, is the BIS items, the jeweled signet of Melandris from Court of Stars, the faulty countermeasure, the Moonlit Prism, and the Tarathan's Betrayal. These are all... Wow, Vault of Wardens is just the BIS machine.
Yep.
Good, I enjoy that dungeon. So there you go. You can get all these bits of gear up to item level 262 and upgrade them all the way up to 272 with Valor points, making it on par, with the Shadowlands dungeon loot. Of course, it's these dungeons. I think these are all really, really fun dungeons. I kind of think they're designed in an era before everything was a gameplay puzzle. Maybe you could say that.
Yeah.
I'd massively prefer... I mean, look, I actually have enjoyed my foray into Mythic Plus, but certainly it feels like, you're really gearing up for a session of gaming. In the same way, sometimes you want to play ranked, sometimes you want to play casual. Maybe some of these older dungeons just feel a bit more I know
Yeah,
there's something about the design that's different because it's really from BFA onwards that they very much designed for like M plus first.
yeah, I think that's the case where it's like the Legion was a nice little mix of, hey, they feel like regular World of Warcraft dungeons, but they have some, you know, M plus kind of stuff in there, especially when it comes to like even kind of, I don't know, it's like they felt fairly linear, but there were nice little like walls and stuff like that. I don't know, without doing them M plus, it's kind of hard for me to remember. Obviously, Dakor's got praised like crazy for them, but they're definitely like, they should look a little bit more to Legion than BFA for whatever dungeons they're designing now.
I think so, yeah.
Even though like I think they're actually pretty good. Like in terms of Shadowlands dungeons, it's weird. I've definitely enjoyed them more on Resto Druid than I did on Holy Paladin. I think that's maybe because I don't have to be in melee all the time. Because being in melee in Sanguine Depths is like self-castration. It's brutal.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah. Broadly, I do actually like the dungeons. And when we were hopping into M plus for some gear to help us in our raids, like it was a fun enough experience, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway, so Legion Mythic Plus, that's going to be back, which of course means in Thalarian's Lair, I have a Shara, Darkheart Thicket. Man, I love Darkheart Thicket. Court of Stars, and Black Rook Hold. So, yes, and what's this? Ah, okay, so yep, so for Dakor, that's just, hey, a chance to come back. Let's see, what are Dakor's impressions? Because, of course, he's a cutting-edge mythic raider, meaning if there's Bis to be found, he will be going to get it. What does he say? He says, man, these feel like actual dungeons, not one-way gauntlets with little player agency as to which route to go and what mobs to pull. Sure, there's certainly some variance and spectacle to the Shadowlands dungeons, but compared to the limited pool of Legion dungeons that I blasted through yesterday's with some homies, it was night and day. Such a breath of fresh air to go through some new dungeons, experiencing them again for the first time in so many years, not remembering the mechanics. At the point in time, I also didn't really push much high content, so many of the mechanics at lower levels weren't noticeable or punishing. So hey, there you go. That's one happy man, and I think that's a sentiment that certainly does bode quite well for the next season.
Yeah, this is
because season 4 is going to bring up some of the legacy dungeons.
Yep, this is the thing that's kind of a little bit frustrating to me, because, and this is just the problem with games overlapping, because I'm really enjoying doing 6.1 stuff at the minute. I'd love to do some Legion M+. It's like, I don't have the time to do both. And now I have to choose because Legion M+ is a limited time thing. It's like, I get why, I totally understand it. But it's, in my unique user case at the minute, it's like, fuck. God damn it.
Apparently, Dakor says he is the rank 1 paladin in the world for Legion M+.
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
What, really?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
He's world number 1.
Yeah, he's, well, I mean, yeah.
What?
Yeah. For the Legion M+ dungeon specifically. Because obviously there's a smaller pool of people and stuff, but yeah.
That's quite funny.
Yeah, he shared the screenshot on Discord earlier, like, good job.
Oh, all right, GG.
Yeah.
Wow, good on him. Okay. Now he did talk about just some, tuning issues.
Yeah.
Examples: Cordana's detonating Moonglaive would just snipe people nowhere near its path. Volcanic often spawns under the floor, meaning you can't see it or dodge it. And then lots of just sort of trivial small mobs triggering bursting, which is something they've turned away from recently. So, a few things like that. But overall, it does seem to be a good experience. However, he says there's some room for improvement, which highlights issues for the last few expansions where the dungeon pool has been very static with little to no variance from season to season. Yeah. The only additions are the mid-expansion stuff with the mega dungeons, but the remaining, the other dungeons, of course, are all the same. But that is, again, highlighting one of the strengths that we're seeing with Season 4 of Shadowlands, and Season 4 very much does seem to be experiments for... the future of WoW in general, which is all very exciting. Yeah, so he says they'd like, just them to add 1 or 2 dungeons for each content patch of an expansion, fully incorporate all the modern dungeons to the Mythic Plus time walking system, making that far more active. So just things to freshen it up and spicing, sure, that works, whatever. Yep. Spice it up. And, sounds good to me, to be honest. And 100%. He says, being able to fill my great vault by having a blast with my guildies in Legion M+ was fun this week. And I want to be like that every week, not the same old 8 dungeons. So I think that this is going to be better in Season 4. I have a feeling whatever they do in the future is going to be better than that, right? So this kind of all does bode a bit. It bodes well.
For sure. There is one small problem, I think, with the Season 4 being all the Mega Dungeons. And I think the Mega Dungeon... Well, maybe not Kara, because Kara was fairly nicely fit in with the rest of Legion stuff, but, like, I think Tazavesh and Mechagon feel very out there compared to most, like, BFA dungeons and stuff, so maybe that'll feel like might end up feeling a little bit samey because they're so intense, but maybe not. Because I remember the first part of Mechagon is brutal. Like, I think that's really, I don't know. Maybe I'm talking complete shit. I don't know. It's just this feeling of like the Mega Dungeons feeling way different to the original dungeons. I don't know if that's completely true or not, but definitely in my limited memory of BFA and Legion, the Mega Dungeons felt different.
I'm happy for that.
Yeah, I mean, that's a very, very, very minor point, all things considered. I actually really, I can't wait to do Kara again. Oh my god!
Like, there's interesting things they could do. You know, they could just say, "Hey, here's 2 time walking dungeons every week. Just add it on."
Yeah,
you could do that.
Yep.
It might be a bit weird. They could just say, "Okay, time walking. It's on way more regularly. We have WoD Mythic Plus. You know, just everything beyond WoD gets Mythic Plus now." And those will just rotate in and out. They could do lots of very interesting things.
Damn straight.
So, yeah, you know, good on them, right? It's like they have this experimental gameplay team working on the classic product. They are evidently experimenting with the modern game. That's really good. And we're at the very early stages, so I don't think we've really seen the sort of fruits of any of this work, like, truly... I don't know, ripen, whatever, weird analogy. So yeah, feels good. Now, on this topic, there's also just been some tuning for the Legion Mythic Plus, just reducing the health and damage of most bosses, reducing the damage of Festerhide's Festerhide Grizzly's Maddening Roar by 30%, and of course of Cordana's Detonating Moonglaive, which was sniping Dakor's friends, by 60%. Next up. Yep. Right, we have, what's this? Oh, this is Blizzard. Cue everyone in the PvE community just saying, Valor next, please.
Valor, please, yep. Conquest
cap doubled.
Yeah, you haven't even scrolled down yet.
Oh.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Well, is that the set of the Andrew Marr show?
Yep.
Fuck. Mm-hmm. Oh, man. Yeah, so, okay, the Conquest cap has been doubled. That means it's 1,100. Increases by 1,100 a week. Previously, it grew by 550 a week, which meant, you know, you could get a percentage of the thing you want every week.
Yeah, you want 20% of a weapon. Here you go. I wonder. I guess this is one thing I'd love, and this is where I really wish we had like a really good line of communication with Blizzard devs as like a community, because I'd love to go. Was this intended to be, you know, is this you looking going, oh, 550 clearly hasn't been enough, or is this, oh, we're a couple weeks into the patch, we'll grow it a bit. And that's like, I think there's a lot of difference in terms of if this looks like, oh shit, this wasn't as intended, or this is planned expansion of the system.
Is it something like, hey, let's throttle the turbo nerds at the start and then give people more catch-up capacity later?
Yeah.
I guess you could say that, but...
yeah, like, because obviously, you know, if you think about it in terms of like Conquest being availability to gear, that is essentially just widening the amount of gear available to people overall. So I think that's one thing I'd like to know.
Night Stalker here saying the community council forums really been pushing for this, so that's quite interesting. Okay, look, so I'm not a PvPer in this game anyway. I'm in FF14 now. Thanks, FF14. But I'd like to be. Yeah. And the one thing that Crystalline Conflict has really taught me is that solo queue RBGs are something that I would love to play, because I would like to be able to earn... Right, if I could do these two things, Blizz, if I could solo queue for an objective-based PvP mode, not arena. I don't enjoy arena that much. I really like objective mode. So if I can solo queue for an objective mode, now it's going to be harder for Warcraft than it will be for FF, because in Crystalline Conflict, every single job has a new toolkit specifically for PvP. And if something is a healer or a tank, they kind of move them to be a bit more damagey, which means that Crystalline Conflict does not have any role restrictions. So that means that, like, as a solo queue experience, you just all go in and it'll vaguely maybe be a bit more balanced.
Oh yeah, no, healers can't heal, basically.
Yeah, so if they could get that to work, I'm fine if there's even a little bit of texture. But if they could get that going, and I could push up my rating by playing a bunch of Warsong Gulch, and while I'm doing that, I am getting fucking perps. More importantly, I am getting perps that look cool. then that would really get me into Warcraft PvP in a way that I'd be interested in. So there you go, Blizz. That's all I'm saying. And every time I say this about RBGs, loads of people, I see them in the chat, they pop up saying, hey, I agree. Because the BG experience is fun, but you're sitting there with this, honor startup gear, and you're like, why am I doing this? And then, of course, the renown gate on that honor gear meant that it didn't even make that much sense anyway. And I would also then say that, I think that a Warsong Gulch in a rated format where people are solo queuing, right? That's maybe going to change how people approach the game. It's going to mean more sort of strategic play. I just think that'd be really, really exciting.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
Yeah, I think that would be great. And anyway, this is a nice little thing for them to do.
Yeah.
That's
the thing.
won.
I think everyone just kind of engages with PvP differently these days. And even like game queues and stuff. Because obviously Mr. GM's are, solo queue M plus when you're like, yeah. Obviously you can just join a group as a person, but solo queue might be a better experience. They'd have to work out a couple kinks, and maybe if they've got their reporting system done, they need to figure out a way to someone leaves, oh shit, the M plus is done. But yeah, I think there's definitely a room for solo queue stuff coming. Obviously, solo queue M plus will be as Ethan says, terrible idea due to group comp requirements. But then you would go, well, solo queue M plus from 1 to 15. Group up if you want higher than that. Yeah. Seems to get a lot of people out of the way, I guess.
Yeah, because that's as high as you want to go for gear, and it's as high as you go for like the rating that unlocks shit. Yeah. And I think most comps are viable, and maybe if they really needed to, they could have just a few little things, a few little rules to just ensure that people don't get dead comps.
Yeah, that's the...
Because here's the thing. Let's just say somebody wants to go and do a rated PvP experience in an MMO. Yeah. If it's World of Warcraft and they're not in an RBG-focused guild, they're fucked.
Yeah, for sure.
They then open up FF, and within 30 seconds are actually loaded into a Crystalline Conflict ranked match.
Yep.
Warcraft is going to need that equivalent. In FF, it's obviously different because the dungeon culture is entirely different. But it's you want to go do M plus for a night. For some people, that involves just looking at the rejected button
for sure
for ages, right? And if you're in a guild, that's not going to impact you that much because you're still going to be just playing with your guildies. So in a way, it's to the people who are most dedicated, they're already playing it with their mates, so something like this wouldn't matter too much. And if then you make I guess the problem then is, will solo queue have no accountability for players and then turn into a toxic cesspit?
That's the problem, yeah. That's what we have to worry about.
And if that is the case, then they are going to be opening a whole can of worms where they need League or Dota levels of player punishment for bad sportsmanship.
Exactly, yeah.
Which maybe that's a can of worms they just don't want to open.
Yeah, I think it's they don't want to open it, but I think in terms of I guess the future, they're really they've basically put a tourniquet around a limb by not opening it, in the sense that it will just fall off eventually. That entire range of players will just be like, I'm fucking out of here if it doesn't get fixed eventually, because it's kind of the modern thing. Honestly, it's you could rage against it and go well, no, because if you add that, then the whole culture of grips and stuff will fall apart. You're at this point, I think that might be a necessary evil for the modern game to exist.
That vibe.
And that's, I never would have wanted to admit that World of Warcraft's hey, just get everyone in grips. I just don't think it's compatible with modern culture. So I guess it's that thing of they would continue to nicheify their game if they kept that going. And from a business perspective, they may need to just go, fuck it, we need gameplay accessibility to be king here.
I'd say, make whatever Towley was talking about come to pass to make Wrath of the Lich King Classic basically be Classic Plus.
Mm-hmm.
In that it's this is the direct sequel to Warcraft 3, World of Warcraft, 2 expansions and the base game, and we're going to keep these going forever. And we're going to add new content, do cool new things. If they do that, and that's the fucking boomer game, and then maybe that frees them up to just be okay, the MMO has changed. Guild chat isn't important because Discord exists. The dynamics of video games has just changed. So maybe accept a few of those things and radically open up modern WoW. Maybe that's going to be the sensible thing to do. At least the old crusty people like us could be catered to by, super wrath thing. So,
Indeed.
right, okay, there you go. Interesting. Now, actually, one last thing. Two things.
Yeah.
Right, do you play PvP? And if you do play PvP, I really want to hear from you. Do you feel really throttled by the gear acquisition and upgrade system? Because, of course, the conquest points are used to acquire gear, and then honor points is used to upgrade your gear depending on your rating. So do you feel that the 550 conquest was really just making you not be that excited to play the game? I can certainly say from a bit of me and Matt's experience, it felt weird doing like a few M+ dungeons, and, you still want to do more dungeons to fill up your vault. But you're over capped in VP, so you don't earn any. So that's thing number one. And then thing number two, I guess, is like, considering all the ways that we get gear, would it be so bad if the honor cap was just doubled? Sure, you get gear faster, but actually that might mean that it feels more possible to attain your goals. Therefore, you just play more and have more fun. Maybe you leave a week or two early, but if you leave satisfied, then that's great because you're going to come back.
I think that's the thing that.
And honestly, fuck balance. Like, fuck balance, fuck pacing. Fuck being like, oh, but competitive stuff and top end play. Fuck all of it.
My sport. Yeah.
Yeah. Just open it up, maybe. Just fucking liberalize the whole thing. Just go mad. Let people, don't be so stingy with the rewards and things. Like, maybe that would actually just make the game feel more rewarding from a progression perspective.
Almost certainly, yeah.
Especially in a world where gear acquisition is extremely random outside of PvP.
Yeah.
Like, I can understand it's deterministic, wanting to slow it down a little bit. Don't know.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like Connor says, I'm a consistent 2400 player, so I will always get the best gear. However, gear upgrades based on rating are never good for PvP. And you can completely understand why that exists in World of Warcraft back in the day, because obviously you got the big weapon, you just went in and killed someone. That felt great in a BG, but as soon as you do that in arena, then you're like, well, this is just like, how do you expect people to outplay someone with substantially better gear? And that's based on skill. So someone is better skilled than you and also stronger, like,
that's a double whammy of fucked.
Yeah, it's like, well, how am I supposed to fight someone who is provenly better and has a stat advantage? It's you should almost be nerfing the person with the skill advantage in this.
It's a weird thing where it's like, okay, let somebody be sweaty to make it up a little bit with gear so that they can then have their own skill development journey.
Yeah.
Or something.
For
Yeah,
sure.
that's maybe a thought.
For
Okay.
sure.
Interesting things. Still on the topic of gear though. Finally, the creation cat list is out. That's it.
Yeah.
Celebrate patch 6.1.
I know. 2 set. Yay.
I still have 3 set because I haven't logged in.
Nice.
Because I was playing FF instead. But hey, I mean, the charges just increased globally anyway, so I will have my 4 set in no time.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
I knowing me, I won't have for another 2 weeks. Fantastic.
So there you go. The introductory quest to it gives you 500 Cosmic Flux, which is a nice little boost. And there you go. Now, there's interesting things. The BOEs convert into tier gear.
Yes, that's fine.
So you can buy one of these BOEs.
Yeah, buy a mythic BOE.
Yeah, buy a mythic BOE and then complete your 2-piece or your 4-piece with mythic.
Yep.
Oh, so that's an interesting little interaction. Of course, that's hands, shoulders, helm, pants, helm, and hands, shoulders. So yes, it was a good thing I stopped playing my hunter.
That sounded like a very, very bad version of the heads and shoulders,
really
knees and
did,
toes.
didn't
Yeah, hands on shoulders, helmet, pants, helmet, hands and shoulders. Very good.
So yeah, hey, there you go. There's that. Now, of course, also the sand gear, the sandworn gear.
Yeah.
Yes, the sandworn gear that you get from the sandworn chests and those various different things in Zereth Mortis also can turn into tier. So a deterministic way to get tier. Actually, I'm sure he has it in this article, so I won't talk about it yet. Now, you can get appearances via the creation catalyst. So if gear is 249 or lower, it will look like LFR. If it's between 252 and 262, it'll be normal. 265, 275 is heroic, and 278 and beyond will have the mythic appearance. So this is actually a bit of a way for you to fill in some of your transmog sets, which I'm sure many players will end up appreciating. And actually, if we're coming back in 2 expansions time to farm this content, then I imagine the creation catalyst will be everyone's best friend.
Absolutely.
And of course, these charges in Cosmic Flux are very cheap, at least compared to the amount that they throw at you for free at the start of the Zereth Mortis experience.
Oh, yeah. It is interesting that they give you 500 for doing the quest, though. You're like, that's just not enough to do it for, a tier piece. Like, oh, come on, please. I mean, you have enough anyway by that point, but I just thought that was funny.
There is something interesting.
Yep.
So Mythic Plus and PvP bits of tier gear still have their upgrade property.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
You could get one of those, converted to tier gear at the normal appearance, then upgrade it to 265, and then it will have the heroic raid appearance.
Oh, it upgrades.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Now, does that then mean
yeah.
that fills in your transmog library with both sets?
Oh, it should, yeah.
Yeah. Look at that.
Interesting. That's a big thing.
That's quite interesting.
That's a very big thing.
Of course, this Flux,
Yeah.
Count Y would be awesome.
Yeah.
Poor
Yeah.
Dakor, poor man plays the game too much. He has 30k Cosmic Flux and he has nowhere to put it. How sad.
Yeah. You can make 10 legendaries of that.
Yeah, just make all your Legos, Dakor, you
Yep.
lazy bastard.
Very good. He definitely has all his Legos.
Oh, of course he does.
He was even talking to me earlier, like the other day, about a different build he was going with, like a different Covenant Lego. I'm like, must be great for you up there in your mythic fucking rating throne to have access to all these builds and they matter. I'm sitting here like, I'm not farming renown again. Fuck you.
Now he's also pulled the audience on, or Tally has pulled the audience on playtime.
Mm-hmm.
For all you average Joe Wowers out there, how many actual weeks do you invest into WoW?
Hours a week.
Hours a week, sorry. Yeah, I mean, interesting. So 15 to 20, 21 to 30, 31 to 35, and 35 plus. Well, right now, mostly done with Zereth Mortis stuff. I raid log, so...
straight 15 to... straight below that, like... Straight below
probably
that.
Yeah.
That's the thing where...
Not much.
Yeah, that's the thing
I mean,
that's...
it was more at the start. Like, I probably would have been in the, maybe 20 hours a week when the patch came out. I mean, it was... I'd say, 6.5 hours for raid, and then it would probably be like another 6 for doing M+ when we were doing our little foray into that, and then maybe an hour and a half a day doing my Zereth Mortis stuff. That's what I was doing.
That's the awkward thing where, like, it's...
Or maybe an hour?
I would probably play the game a lot more if it was a little bit more kind of, I guess, freeform in how you allocated your time during the week. Obviously, it is for Mythic Plus and it is for Raid. But it's like the amount of times where I will like log in for on a Saturday morning, like I did with Classic, and go, hell yeah, I'm going to play for like 4 or 5, 6 maybe hours, and then go get some late lunch or whatever else, and then I log in. I'm like, right, what am I going to do? I'll do my Zereth Mortis dailies, and well, I'm not doing my dailies, the more quests. Okay, sweet. I guess I'll do some M+. I've got like one dungeon. Oh, I guess that'll fill my Great Vault. I don't know. It's like. Especially when it comes to like reps and stuff, there's so much I can't grind when I have like 8 hours of the weekend. But it's like whenever I come in, I don't really like to play very much, or I don't have more than 3 or 4 hours in the evening anyway. Which obviously you can kind of just do like an hour and a half. But basically, it's like if they could move a lot of that time of being able to do more stuff for that isn't instant gameplay, if they move more of that into you can freely allocate this during the week, then I'd be able to just sit down and do like 8, maybe definitely do like 14-hour gaming sessions the weekend. Just 14 hours of just grinding rep. That would be nice.
Yeah,
that's like
I'm certainly there's days where it's like I just have other stuff to do. I can't. But
Yeah.
it would be nice if I could then, do more at the weekend to make up for that. So that's an interesting, it's an interesting thought.
Yeah,
I suppose it's the sort of thing, the calling system,
yeah.
it works for that, for the callings, but it doesn't work for Zereth Mortis.
Yeah, it doesn't because you're grinding that rep by doing the will quests, which are on that like 24-hour rolling cycle. You're like, please, can I get all my rep from a calling for Zereth Mortis instead, please, maybe? Can I get the emissary system back, please? Thank you.
Interesting. Now we have another thing here.
Yep.
So apparently tier set drop chances have been calculated by
Very-
Wowhead with some community data. Now this is a cool
Yeah.
little project, isn't
Loosely,
it?
but yes. Yep.
Okay, so this is not 100% accurate, but you know they're doing what they can with the numbers that they have, and it's certainly interesting. So basically, there's this Google form, and now for the overview. So this is from a total of 321 Great Vault data submissions. From which over 1,500 of the weekly objectives were completed. Okay, so from this, these are the following percentage chances of tier dropping from each slot. For raid, if you killed a tier boss, it's 13%. If you did not kill a tier boss, 3.5. Look at that. And then here's what makes a lot of sense. I think mine was Mythic Plus. Mythic Plus, 9%. So I think I've got one from M+, I think I've got one from Raid, and I think I got one as a drop. I don't know. I can't actually remember. And then PvP, 3.5.
Yeah.
So that's very interesting. And, look at the calculations and the data that Squishy used basically for this, right? Which, I don't think I want to, we'll show them to you, but maybe not sort of step by step go through it all. What he did is he decided to splish the data. Splish? That's a new word. I like that word. Splish. It's a good word. To split the data into two categories for the raid boxes. So one, those that killed the tier boss and received its tier drop in the vault, and those who killed the tier boss but didn't kill the tier boss but still received its tier in the vault. And mathematical jiggery-pokery happens. Yeah. And then we get to those numbers. So, that's maybe some numbers behind some of the experiences that you and your guildies may have had in those first few weeks, where there are the haves, hello, and the have-nots.
I love this game. I mean, obviously, I don't mind there being randomness. It's just randomness over a long time scale without at least a decent sense of determinism is the problem. Yeah. Where it's like, I don't mind not having something for a while, but not having something for a long time is like, please, why don't I just, please? Especially when you can't like force get it. So that's the thing I actually don't mind. Where was I talking this on stream? Was I talking about getting the Buzzy Bee mount? What's it called? The Fluttering Vespa, whatever it is?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it was a case of I just went like, I want that. And I just went and killed loads of mobs till I got it. And it probably could have took me multiple hours. It took me 20 minutes. It's like, sweet. I'd have been here for like an hour if it didn't drop. Holy shit. It's that thing where I could just, here's my allocated time, just nuke it out of the way. Where I can't do that with any like tier or anything like that. I can't just spam it out. Which is, obviously, that would just be bullshit as well. But, I don't know. Complicated. My play habits of World of Warcraft these days are very complicated. And I keep thinking and going, I keep saying things like, if I could do this, I would play. And then I immediately go, hang on, that's a fucking stupid idea. Why'd you say that? But,
Yeah, it's the sort of thing where it would make sense for your play pattern, but maybe for the overall game design, it wouldn't be ideal. Yeah, it's tricky. That's it. Everyone else is sad, but Matt and Mephisto are out there grinding the fuck out of loot.
Oh, yeah. I mean, just give me badges that I can buy tier with, thank you. I mean, you did. It's a creation catalyst, but that's not badges I can whatever.
Yeah, I mean, if the creation catalyst was just out a few weeks earlier, I think a lot of these concerns would have, decreased. Okay. So for Mythic Plus, then there was no need to do the further subdivision. So it was just the, the have tier and have not got tier. Once all that's combined, we get to the around 9% chance. So look, that means that if you do 3. If you get all 3 slots in your Mythic Plus section of the Great Vault, you've got 9%, 9%, 9%.
Yep,
that's how it works. Okay, for PvP then, again similar, which of course came to a very low number for the PvPers. Ow! But that said,
it's a very low.
That is a low sample size. It's a low sample size. Yeah, I mean, if you look at the sample size is like way bigger for the other categories, so it's worth taking that into account. But still, it was an interesting little bit of analysis for sure. Absolutely. Okay. Bingo.
Well, wishlist first.
And wishlist.
Yep.
So,
what do you want from the new expansion?
Okay, I'm going to say housing.
Yep.
because that is a new novel way to reward players and potentially further engage.
Is this a wish list or a fucking application? But yeah.
So we'll do one by one. Okay.
Yeah.
That's my list.
Yeah.
That's not my whole list. It's one entry.
I just want
One mention.
just housing, and it'll be good. Yeah. So I think the first one, and this is like full fucking industry grade copium. It absolutely has to be deterministic light loot, because I love finishing loot. I
too.
love doing loot and getting my loot and it being done. Obviously, there's like a time of like speeding it up a little bit, River. But I definitely like being able to like have the end of a basically the end of a track,
Yeah.
because I don't like a treadmill. Well, maybe obviously, but you know, I don't fuck me. Self-owned, fantastic. Yeah, no, I don't like the fact that it's continuing. I I'd like to see an end goal that I can go towards in some capacity and call it a day. Like, okay, I've done this. I know there's the finish. There's the end. Fantastic.
So, deterministic loot that
Yep.
that gets to be on. Definitely gonna
Yeah.
add that to my
Oh,
wish list.
Yeah, I said light.
Totally.
I said light because it's like when I say deterministic loot in a way, sometimes I think of FF14 where I can just finish my gear in no time whatsoever. But obviously, World of Warcraft is about the loot progression. It's about a little bit of that
Yeah.
treadmill. Happy enough. So it's like, yeah, I absolutely would. I wouldn't want to remove that. I just think like badges and stuff would help it.
Yeah, I'm gonna say massively expanded time walking.
That's a good one.
It's being new type of content.
Absolutely.
So I mean, look, simple enough. That could come in so many different forms. But fundamentally, anything like that. Let me do Throne of Thunder and get relevant gear from it.
Absolutely.
So, batter up.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to think of exactly how because this next one's going to be story based. I'm wondering exactly how to put it down. Especially because I'm trying to be vaguely realistic, because I would just go, yeah, I would, somebody typing, I would say that, but I don't want to say that's unrealistic, but it's so pointless to say. Just make it good forehead.
What would be like respect the canon?
Yeah.
Or not respect the canons, like respect the tone of Warcraft or something.
Yeah, it's like, well, even that's kind of hard to like nail down properly, because like, what is the tone of Warcraft? Is the tone of Warcraft to pick up poop, or is the tone of Warcraft kill loads of people, and have peons wake up these indentured slaves? What is the tone of Warcraft? I think that's kind of hard to narrow down, but I know what I'll go for.
Yeah, I'm going to
R.
do that so that it's like we're both building the same wish list or something.
Okay, absolutely.
It's more
In
reasonable.
which case, I will go for a lower. No, not lower. More no. I'm trying to put it. Yeah, I'll go for lower stakes. Lower stakes in zone-based stories. That's it.
Yeah, you feel more about the story of the farmer and their personal plight than you do for the Chuckler remaking the Cosmos.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, I'm just going to put an easy one in because I've already talked about it, which is solo queue RBGs.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I think would make a lot of sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And now there's a whole bunch of problems that are going to be super, super, super difficult to fix this. And I will admit this is going to be hard, especially when it comes to because I was talking about it in the office the other day, and I immediately saw all of the ways people would abuse this system and how they'd have to work around it. But account-wide reputations. There we go. Yeah, because obviously one of the big problems there will be, as I said in the office, literally just account-wide reps. Your highest rep is what matters, so you can't do it in multiple alts. Then everyone in the game will just go, okay, I have a human alt just to get reps. Fantastic. But yeah, no. They have to fix that, but yeah, that's exactly it. Yep. Account-wide rep. Oh no.
Do I want to do this? Yeah, I do.
Radically reimagined endgame world content. Ooh, that's a big ask. That's a big ask indeed. Oh yeah, I mean, I completely agree. Very good.
Please, no more Radiant quests. I don't know. I think world quests are fucking shit. They're shit. Here's why they're shit. There's no fucking story context. It's all just recycled stuff. Well, it's a bit less so in Shadowlands, but often it's just recycled stuff. You know, when you know what it used to be? Your dailies or whatever your world content was, it was tied to a rep. That rep had a story. As you went up the rep, you unlock some new story. It's almost as if they were trying to craft an immersive role-playing game experience. And now it is just... hello, we are the WoW development team, and all we know about is spreadsheets and numbers and bars and putting bars up. Okay, let's dispense the quests via the quest dispenser. And like little rats in the maze, the players will go and they will do their daily allocation of quests every day. Woohoo! And you know what the thing is? There's no story to that.
Yeah.
There's no pace over time for that. It's the same shit every day. Okay, it'll be different quests, but it's the same shit.
Yeah.
There's no, like, progression or advancement of it. It's so un-RPG, right? You know what I mean? With the way that, like, just after Legion, it's like they completely forgot how to build...
Yeah.
I mean...
Stuff for you to do.
To do. They're just like, here's the fucking pellet dispenser in the cage. Have fun.
Indeed.
It's just that sort of thing where I'd say there's some of those older reps, you know, okay, I get it. They could be grindy and tedious. But surely we're going to make them again with a lot of lessons learned, and there's going to be a degree of innovation. Right? So the idea that, you know, maybe you ask me to do a few different sets of dailies while I'm at, you know, the first two stages of Reputation, and then I unlock like a cool big quest line that advances the story. So now I get phased to a new version of the quest hub that reflects the things that have happened. So I've had visual world changes. I've had changes happen, you know, with rewards that I get, maybe with some of the characters. And then when you hit Exalted, you get like a quest line that really finishes off the story of that Reputation. I mean, imagine if the Valajar were actually like a group of people you interacted with. Instead of just being go to the man for your, you know, for your box
your
every few
reward.
days.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to say. They need to remember they're making an RPG, and if it is just a big thing of you know, here's some icons on the map, clear them out. It's a Ubisoft game you can never complete. Then that doesn't feel great.
That's exactly what it feels like. I mean, obviously, you know, that's what World of Warcraft is like. There's people saying, you know, sounds like Wrath. The Molten Front dailies were great. I thought they were kind of boring, and there's maybe not enough of them. But yeah, the Molten Front dailies had that progression feel to them. And then obviously, you know, who was it? Yeah, it was
Isle of Thunder.
Yeah, it was Isle of Thunder. Then Elvis goes, yeah, that's FF Beast Tribes. FF14's Beast Tribes are very like almost like literally. Oh, how did World of Warcraft do reps? We'll do that almost to a complete T. And it's added like story-based stuff that works for them really, really well.
Order of the Cloud Serpent.
Yep.
You know,
right, 100%.
Unlock new things to do as you go through their rep that are all themed after the rep.
Yeah.
There are characters in that faction. Oh wow, actually, Faldrin, of course, Faldrin, GW2. Of course, Guild Wars person would be like, yeah, they've forgotten they think that RPG is simply numbers go up, and that's it. They think that this content is about grinding Paragon boxes or some weird, wacky bullshit. No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's about a fucking great world experience.
Which is really frustrating to me because people who played World of Warcraft and loved World of Warcraft and got hired to work in World of Warcraft, you would hope that they avoided the trend that the rest of the games industry discovered around the start of the 7th gen, which is RPG elements. Because everyone then went, RPG elements, what's that in numbers? What's that? We're just going to shit all over Darksiders 2 by turning it into a Diablo Light? Absolutely, let's go. And all the other examples of AAA games that get shat on because RPG elements. People thought RPG and now that means your armor has a number, as opposed to role-playing game stuff where you go and have a role in a world and feel really, you know, in there.
Like Ghost Recon as an RPG means 1 or 2 hit kills, maximum lethality.
Yeah.
It does not mean now numbers come out of your gun. that's just thinking, as you said, that's just what RPG is, whereas RPG is a role-playing game.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah, so I think there's so much that needs to happen here. And it's like Suramar. They kind of did that, and then they forgot, then they stopped. So...
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, I don't even think that it doesn't even need to be RPG choices, Yggdrasil. I mean, I don't think I would trust them to do a lot of that stuff, but I don't think it needs to be like really heavy choice based. It just needs to take that kind of feel of, because I mean, there's so much of what an RPG was that people can't just go, oh, that's an RPG thing. There's like 40,000 different mechanics there. But even like the idea of like progressing an area or progressing a world, or like we were saying about the dailies and the reps and stuff, be able to just progress that is like RPG elementy stuff that feels better. So it's like that kind of awkward thing of what is an RPG, and it's we can start with take the fucking numbers out and think about it without a spreadsheet, and then think about player experience, and then work from there. See where we go. But yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
that's what we should.
Time for a contribution, Matt.
Yeah, time for a contribution.
Aha.
I love contributing. Class specific content. Hello, please. I like Legion. Give me content that's class specific, making me feel like my class is there for a reason. That could range from Mage Tower, where with Mage Tower like class specific stories, or that could be just class hall stuff, or that could just be a couple of side quests. Doesn't need to be like this is a game feature. Just needs to be, you're standing in the new hub city and someone goes, "Yo, Druid, some plants are fucking up. Could you give me a hand?" And that goes in like a little like half an hour long adventure. Just give me that. Give me that, and then, because if that happens, I know for a fact the next time I'm like, well, I'm done on my main, the little part of my brain that is, God, you love class fantasy, don't you, would go, Paladin level up Paladin. What's that quest look like? Oh, Druid, what is that? Oh no, I already did. Death Knight, what does that one look like? And I know I'd absolutely do that 100%. And that's the stuff where like that would drive so much playtime and so much enjoyment for me. 100%.
Yeah.
I love Legion.
So I think, it's tricky for my next.
Yeah, I think we can maybe cap it at 5 apiece.
Well, I'm just going to put this in. 1 boss raids.
Ooh.
World bosses don't count.
World bosses, fuck off, please.
Kinda suck.
Take
a look at Guild Wars 2 instead.
That said, the last 2 world bosses have definitely been better.
Yes.
But they're still not great.
Here's the big thing.
Work. Yeah.
A 1 boss raid is just different because you go in there with a raid group and you fight an actual boss. A boss designed for a group to fight. And also when it's like that, what you do is you create a very quick to do, accessible in terms of time format, type of raid boss. And it means that you can actually drop really good gear from that boss because it's got proper difficulty. And then I'd even say, make it queuable. Or
Ooh, that's a good one.
Match made option, XIV trials.
I like it.
Because that is a form of, okay, we're never going to have a WoW raid be like, so right now, Asphodelos, the first raid series in FF14, has no loot lockout. Yep. You can just go in there and just keep on doing the bosses to get the loot as much as you want.
Yep.
So WoW's never going to do that for its big raids, but I think it could do something a bit more like that for a 1 boss raid, and that would be a way for somebody to access raid-like gameplay, just, boom, like that. Yeah. And maybe, because here's the thing, we were going through Aglaia, the Alliance raid. Aglaia, the new Alliance raid in FF14, and it has mechanics that, they literally couldn't exist in WoW. They're too punishing. Honestly, because of the combat res system in FF14. That's the only reason why it works. But it was just this thing of like, holy fuck, these fights are so big and expansive and cool and have so much lethality and madness to them. How does this work? And it's just something you can hit the Q button and do. And that just feels great to be able to access raid style content like that.
Indeed. And it's not like, it's not like everyone in FF's really, really good, because that was a fucking nightmare for the first try was definitely really grim, and we all died a lot.
Oh, so, man, in our first 2, it was so frustrating because, we all just knew that, okay, the thing we should do here is wipe and go again now that we know the mechanics. Our alliance pretty much was in agreement.
Yeah.
The other two alliances just kept on rezzing and fighting and just had fights that lasted for ridiculous amounts of time.
Well, that's because of a very specific, I think, oversight in that alliance raid, which is there was almost no raid weds going out.
Yeah.
Where raid weds going out ultimately mean that like healers start to get taxed very, very heavily. But they were very, very rare that a raid wed was going out or doing raid wed damage, which then meant that a healer could just conserve mana from healing and res people and just continue the chain. But yeah, it's good. Good experience. Good experience.
Totally. Yeah. So, I mean, do we have to limit it to 5 each? I guess we probably should.
I mean, if you have more ideas, go for it.
Well, if I was to like vomit a few things out,
Yeah.
I would say
Go for it.
class skins / more class based, customization. I would say mount. So mount. Aggressive.
Yeah.
Whoops. So this is just to say mount equipment as it came out was just being like, oh no, people only want to use the water strider. Let's solve this problem. To which I say, motherfuckers, you've totally lost sight of what developing a game is. Mount equipment should be cool and exciting and fun and give people cool new shit. So, maybe it's mount equipment too, or maybe it's just like mounts 2.0, mount families have special properties and abilities. Maybe say that. You know what? Fuck it.
He's gone. Oh yeah, I agree. I completely agree. Yeah. Do you want 6 Mars or not? Like,
I'll take 6 Suramars.
yeah. I mean, obviously that's a bit different, but yeah.
And who knows how a future expansion works in terms of gear, but whatever. Fuck it.
Yeah.
I would say Lore Master 2.0.
Oh yeah.
Something big.
Yeah, because I was talking about that a couple weeks ago, wasn't
Something big for questers.
I? Yeah. For sure.
I would say I'm going to put it here, but I would say bring back horrific visions in a time walking or something. So that you can do them again. Actually, horrific visions as a part of BFA time walking would make sense. The idea that BFA time walking could be a thing is a bit weird.
Yeah.
But there you go.
Yeah. Time walk to last week.
I definitely do have other things. Like, I'd even say, big open zones, not tight gameplay hub chains, something along those lines. I really, you know what I mean, sort of. That's just a few thoughts. I have other ones, but maybe I'll cool it down.
Yeah, so I've only added one thing since,
Sweet.
which is to say legendaries with story and meaning attached, because artifacts were incredible for that. And I think that I actually like the Legion legendaries because they had, I mean, sort of the same legendary powers, a little bit different, but the legendaries had like really cool names in Legion, and I always liked thinking about them. There was the Paladin ring, there was the Crown Jewel of Silvermoon, there was the Ring of Necrophantasia. There was a couple of different ones. I was like, oh, these are really actually quite not like super important, but they had just little bits of I can imagine there's a backstory to this item that's really cool. They all had names and stuff that I thought was great. So I'd like to see a little bit of that back, just in the sense of, okay, your legendary item that you're getting this time that has this effect for a reason. It isn't just it has it because we said so. It drops from Torghast, whatever the fuck, that kind of thing. It was like that. I would very much enjoy that back, just because I like having that feeling of meaning to my gear and stuff like that. Because I still remember having that the Holy Power ring for ages. It was what?
Yeah.
What?
So I think that's a fun little list. Now these are certainly things we would never expect all of these to be there.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Whereas it's what philosophically is a wish list is a difficult thing. Where mine is very much I really, really, really think we could get some of this. It's realistic, but it's also a little bit ambitious. Whereas yours is absolutely high on copium like crazy. Yours is ready to go. Yep,
I do believe some work is going on outside. There we go.
indeed.
Anyway, right. Okay, let's build bingo.
Mm-hmm.
Bingo. Okay. Aspect power or something like it. Come on.
Yep, absolutely. In which case, I'm not like, I actually have no idea. I will say, I have no idea how to build a bingo in the sense of make it realistic, make it possible, make it happen.
Oh, I know.
But yeah.
Right. Cov player power. Oh.
Power!
You know, something about like, we're going to remove,
Oh, yeah.
clapping for Cov player power
Yeah.
being bad.
Yeah.
I don't know why this is capitalized like this. This is
Yeah, I
disgusting.
mean, how do you make that fit on a bingo? I guess you say something along.
Just make the bingo bigger.
Fuck you. Let me think. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's actually a good one. The free space is listening to player feedback. That's a good one there, Doxy. Yeah. Also, yeah, absolutely. This is not for us to do. Chime in.
yes,
Chime in with what you're saying. We'll take a look and fire some nice stuff in there.
Start of a new chapter in the Warcraft saga.
Oh, yeah.
New
Oh,
chapter
absolutely.
in the book. New book in the series. Who knows?
Absolutely. Yeah. So. Ooh. Okay. Let me see. Let's see. Any great ideas?
Player agency being mentioned.
Player agency. Yeah.
That'll definitely go there.
I don't know if I should include nerfed Alexstrasza, but I agree with it. Yeah. Well, maybe not. Maybe not.
New class.
New class.
Okay,
Yeah.
bingo.
New class is in there. Yeah.
Class of bingo.
I would definitely put it in. Hang on. What are this? How do you make a bingo? Because I was gonna say put the new class in one of the slots that don't matter very much. But yeah, sure.
Meaningful choice.
Oh, meaning. Yeah, we're trying for meaningful choice. Yeah.
Yeah, that definitely has to be there. Okay, all friendliness. Any noises towards that?
Yeah, absolutely.
All friendly. I'll give it that. Oh, yeah, new race as well.
Yeah, I'd put that in the opposite to the new class.
Wait,
probably.
opposite.
Yeah, the opposite side. Just so they're not in the same one, because they're more. I don't think we're.
Oh yeah, I forgot how bingo works.
Yeah, I feel like getting new race, new class same time is like
Yeah,
really
that's too
unlikely.
easy,
It's
yeah.
only ever happened once before, so yeah.
Galacrond.
Oh, Galacron, yeah, absolutely. Fire Galacron in.
Okay.
Let's see. Oh yeah, we haven't got grounded story. I'll throw that in there.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you tried it? Yes. I'll do it.
Put it down here. We've heard your feedback.
That's in the middle. You good?
I am a goon.
That's the free space. It's not literally a free space. It might not be, but anyway, yeah.
Talent tree.
Oh, new talent tree, yeah. Ooh.
Should I put Chromatus in here?
Yes. Put Chromatus in somewhere. Yeah.
Man cannot use a keyboard today.
Yep. Absolutely.
New Night Elf home.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Because we didn't talk about that. Is that in the? I don't know if that's in the doc to talk about, but the World Tree Seed thing, the Queen
Let's do it after
Gift
this.
Queen, yeah.
Or we'll do it for
Yeah.
Connell's benefit.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah.
Booty.
Booty, what?
You know what?
I don't
Because
know.
it's Blizzard,
Yeah.
and like if every character in StarCraft, like I mean, Jimmy's got a butt, so let's just put in Booty.
Okay.
Should I put in Booty?
I don't think so, but anyway, yes.
Let's just wait for like Blizzard to do,
Yeah.
like a big fucking ass shot in their trailer, which
Yeah.
kind of.
Yeah, I'll grab. Ned Stalker said more character customization. We'll fire that into.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Character customization. That's almost a given, but it's like in terms of it being announced and talked about as a feature, definitely important.
Forgetting the sword.
Oh, forgetting the sword. Yeah, absolutely.
Totally.
Oh, hang on. This is a dodgy one. Should we go for Dragon Soul memory hold? In terms of the Dragon Soul, just won't mention it ever again, or won't mention the end of the Age of Dragons.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
they might frame it in those terms though.
Oh, they might, yeah. Yeah, I'll change forgetting the sword to what sword? Because
Yes.
people are spamming what sword. There's no sword in Sylvanas. Absolutely.
Old zone touch up.
Oh, yeah, that's a little bit, yeah.
I'm putting in there because there's been so much rumor mill
Yeah.
about Quel'Thalas and Lordaeron.
Yep, for sure, for sure. I have to put it. Oh, hang on. Where should I put it? I'll put it. Yeah,
Oh, we
I'll-
don't. Do we have housing?
No, I'll put it in the same line as Old Zone Touch Up. Obvious, blatant retcon.
Oh,
Yeah.
they say renewal.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so if we can get both renewal and what sword, this will be a banger.
Yeah, it's like I'm trying to avoid stuff that we know is like almost a free win outside the
Yeah.
free space. It's like because there was it'll definitely be like a focus on a female character, but we know that because of Alexstrasza
Oh yeah, of course.
for sure. What else? Put
Yeah,
some. Put
a lot of
some-
people are very interested in that one.
Yep, absolutely.
Of course.
Alphabet it. Something about no, I don't know if we believe we can balance this. Should go in.
No new BG. No new BG.
That's a good one.
that
That's a
would be
good one.
so fucking funny.
Yeah. What do you mean funny? That's just going to happen.
Flying at start.
Flying. Yeah, flying at launch.
good
Yeah.
one. Profession. New professions. Profession revamp.
Profession rework. Yeah. And then one of the last slots, I think, over here will be. I don't want to say they'll mention the leaks, but there's like, acknowledging the leaks. Acknowledging the leaks. All right, so we have one last space.
Ooh.
What will this be? And then we'll have to kind of gauge if this is possible. But,
Khadgar?
oh, you type new BG. No new
Oh,
BG.
whoops. We could put Khadgar there.
Could we?
We won't get release date.
Bane does something. I fucking wish. Not
Yeah,
happening.
he will say, for the Dragon Eyes.
For the dragon flights.
that will be the first line of the trailer.
Oh, store mount, that's too free.
Have we got talents in here?
Yeah, talent tree over the right hand side.
Okay.
By professional rework. Return. Hello, Dragon Savior. I don't want to put that in there. I don't want to manifest that.
Oh,
What?
I'm going to put Maw Walker in.
Mawwalker?
Just the idea that we will have some form of title.
I don't.
So, like, if you just get called, like, Dragon Caller, then...
Yeah,
maybe
that's.
take it.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Maybe I just don't want it to happen. I don't want them to be like, oh, we figured out you can be called the dragon, whatever. I don't know. Fuck, I don't know.
We could just call it a day and put Borrowed Power there.
I don't think so. Not when you've said clapping for Covenant player power being bad. That feels a little bit too. We have to
We
make
could get both.
We have to make. I suppose we could, but
That's the thing. I think.
Oh, hang on,
I think
yeah.
we'll get both.
yeah, just make sure it's like or specify that it's not just borrow power, but like a different kind of borrowed power.
Well, I would be thinking Legion or BFA style Borrowed Power, not Covenant style Borrowed Power. So that could absolutely happen.
Yeah. Your character was a dragon the whole time. I don't think so.
So let's look at some of these columns then.
Yeah.
Aspect Power, Meaningful Choice, New Race, No New BG, Night Elf Home.
Free win. Oh, see,
That seems possible.
That's a fun one because new race is a big one where it's like that's a pretty big thing. And actually, we'll clarify: does race mean allied race, or can it have to be a new race? It's not framed as an allied.
Should we open it up like that?
I don't think so. I feel like that's too easy.
Okay.
I feel like that's too easy. I feel like new race that's not an allied race makes more sense.
How do I? I always forget how to strike through. Oh wait.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
Okay. This one: Clapping for Covenant player power bad.
Yeah.
Alt friendliness. No mention of sword. Some form of seeming obvious blatant retcon,
Yeah.
and there being borrowed power. That's also a plausible column.
That's a thing where I think the retcons, like the hard mode there, Because I mean, because this will be like this is the announcement only, not the expansion itself, of course. So it's like, will they do something that you know
could put
we can go
head scratcher, narrative head scratcher, perhaps.
possible retcon? Oh, and actually, I'll do that. Possible retcon. Possible dragon retcon. Because there's a thing where, you know, obviously if the Dragon Isles, or I just swapped the camera to you, if the Dragon Isles comes and it's like, the dragons are this mystical, ancient, powerful race, blah, 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 etc., etc., etc. Our true power has lain in the skies the whole time. And everyone's just like, remember Cataclysm happened, please. Please. The Age of Dragons is over. Don't make that irrelevant, please. It was shit, but don't make it irrelevant.
Oh, I wish they didn't do it like that. Okay, right. Our next column in this bingo.
Oh, we actually missed. Okay. Yeah, we missed time travel or time shit. Should we fit that in somewhere? I don't know.
You think about that. Well, listen. Okay, we'll see if there's any true duds we can slot it in. Start of a new chapter in the Warcraft saga. Galacrond. Listening to feedback, grounded story, flying at the start. Yeah. That's a bit harder. It could happen.
I'll change this into a quote so it's obvious.
They're all plausible.
Yeah.
But to get all of them, our next one, player agency, more character customization, renewal.
Renewal. Yeah.
Cannot use a keyboard. Old zone touch-up and housing. If it was just these four, that's a free win. But housing, like, it depends what their hero feature could be.
Yeah. Have we accidentally made this kind of compelling?
Maybe. New class, acknowledging the leaks, talent tree, profession rework, Chromatis.
Chromatis seems
That's a hard mode.
Chromatis doesn't seem super solid, and also profession rework is like pretty. Oh, I guess talent.
They've been hiring people on a profession.
Oh yeah, so profession rework seems kind of free. Is acknowledging the leaks? I'm trying to think. Well, how should we frame the talent tree? Talent tree or talent tree rework, like a big one.
I'd just say anything talent tree related.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay. I'm assuming that doesn't include hello. We've moved some talents around.
Yeah. And just more substantial than that. Right.
Yeah.
If we were going to do our rows then. So aspect power, clapping for Covenant player power being bad, start of a new saga, player agency, new class.
Yeah.
That's super likely.
That's super likely. I feel...
Could happen.
I'm trying to think about what player agency could mean.
Well, just any talk of player agency, I think. Like as a topic, you know, and sort of reevaluating Shadowlands for that.
Yeah, for sure.
Meaningful choice, alt friendliness, Galacrond, more customization, acknowledging the leaks. See, this one I'm not sure of. This one could go either way.
Yeah, Galacrond seems a bit dodgy. Except for the fact the map.
You're right. Okay, no, we'll keep Galacrond. New race or new race.
Yep.
What sword? Listening to feedback, renewal talent tree.
Yeah.
It just depends on this. Could happen. It could happen.
For sure. Hang on. I think I could make that fourth. I'm thinking column. No, never mind. My brain's turned off.
Oh, bingo is the most important part of the week.
I'm trying to make this like a really compelling bingo that I could fucking like, because obviously like, well, the plan is, I don't know if we'll do it, but the plan is to like go through this, make a nice graphic for it, and go through it on stream next week.
Oh yeah, we'll have it up.
So it's like I would like to do this, so I want to make it like really compelling, and then we'll feel a sense of pride and accomplishment when we've successfully got a really hard bingo. But at the same time, I don't want to fiddle it. Fuck. Yeah.
So no battleground.
Yeah.
Possible dragon related retcon.
Yeah.
A more grounded story, old zone touch up, and profession rework.
That's
all plausible as fuck.
That's beautiful, because that's like that sounds like a really hard like bingo line, but at the same time, all of it is like completely like you can see exactly how the expansion announcement comes out. That's that great. Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We might have accidentally created there's going to be like there's one or two clenchers in each category, which could make it a bit thrilling. All right, new Night Elf home, borrowed power, flying at the start, housing Chromatis.
Yeah.
Chromatis could sink a lot in this.
Chromatis could sink the diagonals and those throws like for free.
Yeah. Interesting.
Absolutely.
So
yeah, see, okay. Chroma, you say no shot they don't make a new BG. They tried to make one new arena for 9.2. And they had to push it back to 9.2.5 because it didn't work. The chances of them making a new BG seem fairly fairly low to me.
Yeah.
Not impossible, but low.
They just lost the BG creation tools. They're lost.
Yeah.
That's it. They did the charity server blades and just somehow slip it on there.
see.
I know that's not how it works. Oh man. Oh.
Bottom left to
What's this?
bottom left to top right is easy mode. Is it? See, I think the possible dragon retcon that'll be a hard one, I think. And also for them to have to mention more character customization specifically in a tight thing where they're talking about other stuff might be a little bit rough, but we'll see. Yeah.
Okay. So, what's this?
Yeah. So, is this the right thing? Let's look and see.
From yesterday. There's an encrypted 925 cutscene
Yeah.
referring to Queen's Gift. Interesting. What does it refer to? At the end of the Ardenweald story, the Winter Queen gives us a new seed, most likely intended to be planted anew, and replace Teldrassil.
So that's the thing where this is a tier of Elune, right? But it's Ardenwealdy. So it's very clearly
Oh.
something like that. And yeah, see, that's the thing. Dagger says it was spotted ages ago, but not much was talked about it. Because I only saw like a week or so ago, someone said, what if they don't plant Teldrassil they don't plant this in the remains of Teldrassil? What they actually do is plant it by the sword. And that's how they deal with the sword. They regrow a world tree around it instead.
No.
No?
No.
Why not?
I mean, it's too close to Anchorage.
But what if they're like, yeah?
The spooky shit deep in the earth, that's not where you make your new city. That's a stupid idea. I mean, I get how it's like, we have
Yeah.
solved the narrative problem, but that
Exactly.
seems... I don't think they do
Yeah.
that. Like, okay, world building wise, that's whack as fuck.
Yeah. I think it lines up a little bit
Also,
too
there's
well.
no sword in Silithus, so I mean, I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
We only photoshopped that in for the video we did a few days ago.
Yeah. No, I have a funny feeling they'll like try this at least. Maybe it won't be like a full tree, but it'll be like the sprout of a tree, and then they'll be like, yeah, we can defend it against the old god corruption because this is death magic. That's our way in. And I feel like that'll be them sort the problem out, and then you'll have a world tree built around the sword, and that's kind of cool. I think it's plausible. I think it's plausible.
I just think it's weird for the world building. It just
Yeah,
seems
so
like
is everything else. So is burning
true.
Teldrassil in the first place.
Yeah, well, that was a fucking creative director losing his marbles.
Yeah,
But I guess, hey, it's Modern Blaze. They can do whatever,
yeah.
you know.
They don't have to. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. They also destroyed Undercity and Tearsful.
Oh, interesting. I see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, it would look cool and I could see all of that. I just see it as a bit of a weird place in
Yeah.
history, thinking about, you know, like even the War of the Shifting Sands. And it's just a weird place for them to choose to relocate to, especially when, you know, like they are established in Darkshore.
Yeah,
You know, you like think about their, you know, their land holdings,
yeah,
where everything's been set up. It's like, where are they strongest? Well, they're strongest in Hyjal. They have Ashenvale. They have Darkshore. Feather wasn't Feather.
Are they strong in Hydral? Because Hydral got blown up by the Ragnaros.
No, I think they still have that.
Yeah, they have it, but
see, the thing is, in
exploded.
Feralas, was Feathermoon Stronghold not like totally destroyed in the Cataclysm? And I don't know if it's canonically back.
That's exactly the thing where
It's like
the
their
world building.
holdings get weaker as you go south.
Yeah, but like the world building doesn't matter because it's in a fucked state since Cataclysm largely. Obviously, BFA recovered a little bit of that,
I guess, yeah.
but yeah. So that's the thing. I mean, obviously, they could just build a new home basically anywhere else, but yeah. It's that case of I feel like it's that intersection of like 8 different plot points. They go, fuck it, we've sorted it. We don't have to do any of that shit again. We can just do whatever we want.
Okay, yeah, it's like this would be such a sloppy bit of world building, sort of, I
Yeah.
think. But it would totally signify them putting a whole bunch of shit in the bin.
Yeah,
And maybe those would be good things to be in the bin, because if we deal with those things again, it's going to mean sort of alienating world building that doesn't really fit.
But they
OG
could
Warcraft.
start new world building and go, fuck it, we control the south of Kalimdor now because we said so.
Could do that.
Something like that. Maybe.
Well,
I don't know, but yeah.
That's an interesting thing to think about.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, with our wish list done and our bingo created, what's this? Are dragons just super elves?
Yeah, this is a very interesting topic. This is a fantastically interesting forum post. Went into depth about how, well, let's say Blizzard's ideas of dragons are really quite boring because they were kind of cool with the Knack's versions of dragons, like Richard A. Knack, the author, but that kind of got a little bit diluted over time. Some of it was like where he did some weird stuff with them, but he kind of set the lore forward. And then ultimately, I guess I'll say it this way. When's the last time you've seen I was about to give the game away. When's the last time you saw a dragon do anything vaguely interesting as a dragon? When have you seen a dragon not just be an elf that can turn into a dragon sometimes?
Okay, true. It definitely. Yeah. No. Fair.
Yeah, they're just super elves.
Fair. Yeah.
Kirasur's the community council member who wrote this up, and it's literally just like they are very much just humans from the world. There's so little about their culture, so little about how they act. And you've even got stuff like Caligos and Jaina having a relationship. You're like, how the fuck does that work? Not literally physically, but like, aren't these dragons like completely culturally different, completely like born differently, live differently? Why are they all just elves?
Yeah.
Why
It
do
does
you
feel a
feel-
bit weird being able to just fucking ride your boyfriend to work
Yeah.
because he has wings and flies. It's quite something.
Yep, absolutely. Exactly. But that's the thing where like dragons, especially if you look at like how dragons in I'm not gonna say one game. I'll talk about Skyrim. But no, it's like dragons generally feel like very, they're these like ancient mythical creatures. A lot of the time they seem a little bit alien to people. But over the years in WoW, it's very much just it's a faction of elves that can sometimes that are like, if they never turned into dragons, nothing would matter. It just wouldn't be as cool. It's like the only real dragon that was dragony was Deathwing.
No, that's why Jaina has the flying boat she can summon.
Oh, right, yeah.
Right, because like Caligos can just turn into a dragon. She's like, fuck, I have to have something that flies.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Yeah.
So, dragons from Ward 2. Like, wow. Dragons are native to the untamed northlands of Azeroth. Reclusive by nature, dragons have had little contact with their earthbound neighbors over the centuries. Mighty chains of adamantite steel bind the most powerful creature in all of Azeroth, Alexstrasza, the Dragon Queen. And then we have a bout of knackification.
Yep.
So that works off Richard Knack. So, the Warcraft dragons as we know them were envisioned by Richard A. Knack. Day of the Dragon in 2001 was the very first novel set on Azeroth.
Yeah.
I kind of forgot about that.
Yeah. Lord of the Clans was after it. Or I'm thinking of the Orcish Horde stuff back
Was
in
Lord
the
of
day.
the Clans not 2003?
Yeah, I'm thinking like the earlier ones that were set on Draenor.
Lord of the Clans was October 2001.
Oh, interesting.
I think they were just in that like big spree of okay, let's do our world building.
Literally, we have money.
Yeah.
Holy shit! Let's hire a load of authors.
So this novel was written in a peculiar way. The plot was being brainstormed by Knack from one chapter to the next, and when Blizzard declined some of his ideas, he simply just offered them new takes.
Yeah.
And this is where the aspects came from. Deathwing as a royal court schemer, their ability to transform into mortal forms.
Yeah.
Oh, and somehow I went to the end of the document.
Nice one.
Zoop, there we go. Actually, Knack adds his all-time favorite genre tidbits into every work, even if it's a commissioned piece. Just look at his original setting, Rex Draconis, kind minotaurs, wise elves, and mighty dragon gods who transform into mortal forms to manipulate their world and its politics.
Very Anixia.
Very Nixia. Oh, wow. Knack's influence wasn't that noticeable in Warcraft 3, because in that game, the dragons are a mix of their original and basic Warcraft 2 incarnation with some Knackish lore on top of it. Their breath is a fearsome stream of fire. They have been known to swallow enemies whole and slowly digest them over the course of the day, says the Warcraft 3 manual on Red Dragons. Just Alexstrasza just having a snack.
I'm sure there are people who have thought about that a lot, and let's not talk about those people.
Yeah, let's not talk about 4. We've already had Eel 4. We don't need any more. So interestingly enough then, on this post, Warcraft 3 had some curious ideas about dragons that were forgotten since then. Here's a tidbit that's never been since explored. Though there were few great blue dragons left in the world, their magical powers are awesome to behold. Native to Northrend, the few blues stay relatively close to the great dragon Blight, where they commune with the ancient dragon spirits who died in ages past. That's cool. That's
pretty cool, yeah.
Pity that's been completely forgotten about.
Yep.
So are they just shape-shifting elves? Well, here we are, the age of World of Warcraft. Right now, too many dragon characters, and even the very idea of them no longer represents the fantasy of Great Worms. Yeah. So basically, she's a big lizard, she's a big lizard, he's a big lizard, and he's a big lizard, but doesn't really feel like it.
Yeah,
and I guess
but when's the last time you've seen them like that?
That's the thing. In the same way that even the Night Elves rarely feel like they did in Warcraft 3.
Yeah, Night Elves are just different humans, just purple humans a lot of the time.
Yeah, so... man, yeah, it would be... Yeah, I'd like them to be more bestial. Look, if the Dragon Isles thing just involves these lot being a lot more hardcore about things, then yeah, totally.
Yeah, indeed.
Oh no, it's like, yeah, no, Logan, I know Ysera does appear as a dragon in the Shadowlands, but when we're talking about, oh, they're just elves, we're not talking about a lack of transformation or lack of changing forms. We're talking about them just being written as super elves, like as characters, not like literally their toolkit.
Yeah, they have all like the same motives as like people in Azeroth and stuff, and they like communicate with them, and they pick like faction sides. They have like, you know, like Kalecgos and Jaina having a relationship. In many other settings, that wouldn't matter to a dragon because it's a dragon doing dragon stuff, not being like a regular kind of dude. If you kind of follow,
There's no
it's just that thing
Hraesvelgr.
of, yeah, there's no Hraesvelgr, there's no, you know, there's no Parthenax, there's none of that shit going on.
Yeah.
There's no, you know, the grand history of this like completely different race and completely different series of beings just isn't there. They just feel like any other race, which is like kind of fair, obviously, as a direction, but it just doesn't quite come across as like dragons.
Yeah. So this post continues to say, when you think of Alexstrasza, what pops up in your head? Is it like what she actually looks like, or a disguise he uses to do politics? Like,
Exactly.
what does she actually hang out in for most of her time? Surely, being a dragon, she would hang out in her, like, as a dragon, because she's a dragon.
Yeah, but for all of Wrath, she was Alexstrasza atop of the tower, where dragons wouldn't really, well, they wouldn't all fit that well if they're all up there together.
Yeah.
I think they're all standing around in their elf forms, being like, yes, we're here to commune with humans, etc., etc. But that's like, that's their home. And I think she's in the equivalent of like being in her home at 9 p.m, watching TV, dressed to the nines, instead of in pajamas.
Yeah.
You're like, dragon form should be their pajamas. Or like, yeah, you're coming into my house. Of course I'm in dragon form. What are you doing?
Yeah. Most of the time we see dragons in their humanoid guises, usually that of elves or humans, even in the, as we basically just said.
Yeah.
Hence, we have funny scenes like the one from Legion where the Death Lord uses Asphyxiate as a spell, the spell Asphyxiate, to magically choke a bronze dragon disguised as a gnome in the temple, even though it's just like, turn into a dragon, bro.
Yeah, just break that asphyxiate like.
And now we have Visage Day.
Yep.
Fairly recently got new dragon lore in Visage Day, the story by Steve Denuser in Folk and Fairy Tales. Here is this community post talking about it. The story centered around Chromie's upcoming Visage Day. This is a new concept that was never mentioned before. I'll let the characters describe it for me. Since we aspects first realized our kind was destined to share Azeroth with the young races, we have each taken a visage to allow us to see the world as they do. Just as importantly, it informs how they perceive us. Do you wish them to see us as a trustworthy sage, a tyrant to be feared, distant and aloof, warm or generous? This choice is deeply personal, and it says much about who you are as a dragon. This is what Nosdumu says. Many ages have passed since we dragons first peered down from our roosts and watched the young mortal races begin to spread across Azeroth. As we saw their villages grow into cities and their cities became kingdoms, the Timeways told us that we must find a way to live alongside them. And so it was decided we would each assume a form that would allow us to walk freely among their kind and see the world as they do. That's what Alexstrasza says. And then here's the continuation of the Community Council members' post. I think it's the pinnacle of the Dragonkin narrative evolution into basically human shapeshifters. In their culture, it's so important to have a mortal visage that they have a special day, a rite of passage for it. But previously, I got the impression that while dragons choose a visage based on their personal preferences, the choice never was felt to be one of such gravitas. Going on to say the short story plays in the idea that each dragon will probably live part of its life amongst mortals. What's the point otherwise? Once again, I never got this impression before because the dragonflights have duties bestowed to them by the Titans. Perhaps some of them never had a reason to interact with mortals at all. Previously, I never thought that dragon-mortal relations are so frequent in nature and important since the days of old, mind you, that they require a special ceremony in the life of every dragon. But why is a mortal visage treated as something that's going to represent themselves the best? Almost reads as a bias towards mortals who cannot choose their bodies, but that's probably not the case. Still, it shows just how similar the line of thinking is to that of humans to the point of beauty standards. And this is where I want to come and say, actually, this is a great post that makes a really good point.
Yep, absolutely.
And in a way, it's like this is almost a retcon feeling thing. Not a hard retcon.
Yeah, it's a sort of soft
think about
development,
what reputation do you start off with a bronze dragonflight in vanilla?
Oh, hated, wasn't it? Yeah.
I don't know if
It
it was
was not
hated,
hated, it was whatever it was.
but it
Yeah.
wasn't. It wasn't a good reputation, is my
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
Right? So the sort of shtick with some of those dragons was like it was way more frosty back in the
Yeah,
day. And
yeah.
it's became way more cuddly since.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's even the example of what I call we're talking about Salandria recently, and the fact that, just the bronze try to kill her, and they're going, hang on, maybe we shouldn't because she hasn't fucked everything up yet. But that's a case of, oh yeah, that's not something you do if you're like a really mortal friendly race, where it's the kind of thing where they've definitely become so much softer.
Yeah.
They become way softer and way more like human, or not human, but like mortal oriented. And obviously kind of, the Age of Dragons is over, kind of kicked a little bit of that into gear. But so much of that is just, yeah, why are they just a slightly different race? Obviously, I think it was, who was it? Yeah, there's a couple people in chat talking about how much the, Blizzard writers write all the races is kind of the same, despite the cultures being like widely different.
Wee bit of the Joss Whedon
Yeah.
problem of, hello, all my characters are quips and they all talk the same.
Yeah, it's that case
Not
where,
that it's
yeah.
quips, but
Yeah, it's even like the evolution of like Sarfang, but the whole honor thing very much was like, obviously you can see why like Sarfang and Varian were both in that cutscene with Anduin, but it's like orcs definitely aren't just humans that are slightly different.
No.
They should be way different. Same with the elves, same with the Forsaken in a way because they're so different to everything else. Same with the Tauren, same with even the Pandaren when they show up. But it's just that case of it's just a big load of humans doing humany stuff. And that's kind of the problem where I genuinely think that the dragon like Visage Day stuff is like really, really cool. I think that's like a really nice way for it to go. But that's just different to how so many other dragons are done and how they were done before. Where it's like I don't take any specific issue with it. This isn't like a cutting criticism of how they do things. It's just kind of a thought piece of, man, dragons really are just super elves or super whatever they want to be.
I guess then there's like two ways they take this. Either
Yeah.
one, Dragon Isles is like, oh shit, they found our secret.
Yeah.
Or, oh shit, okay, right, now we've got to be serious. We have to be more hardcore like Malagos was.
Yeah.
Not that I'd say they would be villains or should be villains, but like I think they either go that way where they feel maybe a little bit more bestial because they maybe are just a bit more backed into a corner or something.
Yeah.
And, they then start to genuinely feel like beings who are just kind of above us because of like their, their lore, their history, obviously the
Yeah.
Titan shit. Or they go and, they're sort of more like protectors of the world, political dignitaries. I think that's like the two broad directions.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I do like dragons with a bit of bristle in them. That's why I've really liked the FF dragons.
Oh yeah, they're fantastic. The different language they speak, all that stuff is excellent. Like, but
yeah, so that's kind of interesting. I think a lot of the dragon lore is going to come up, and that's what's another interesting thing because a lot of this dragon lore is like, the foundations are built by Knack, and so much of the dragon lore has been expanded in books. Even Visage Day, that's a book.
Dawn of the Aspect.
Yeah, like the most modern dragon lore that people have is following Ysera, and Chromie gives us good features, so we like her.
Yeah. Well, Chromie's
Right?
good at
Chromie
like.
time walking. I mean, maybe just some. I don't know, but well, Chromie time and classic. It's like, yeah, Chromie's like almost a mascot character for things
Yeah.
that people like. So, I guess it's this bizarre thing where those who read all of the extra materials know so much more about dragons
Yeah.
than those who have just played the game.
That's something we should probably talk about at some point. That's going to be really, really difficult for the Dragonflight lore stuff to land because all even if they start talking about Galakron too much, if they don't explain Dawn of the Aspects, then people are like, what the fuck is going on? It's like Caligos will start up and start talking about Galacron. They're like, who the fuck is that? Who? Are you not Jenna's boyfriend? What?
Galacron?
What's going on?
Was that not a set of bones that I was in Wrath?
Yeah. Whereas obviously the whole thing is like Caligos saw all that happen through whatever, I can't remember whatever artifact it was that made him see Malagos's life. Anyway, you're like, okay, that's really, really cool. All of the lore about like how the aspects were, they weren't born super intelligent. They were like, they became almost like a little bit of just evolution through those specific aspects. They were like the smartest of the proto-drakes that could learn to communicate, whereas the proto-drakes before couldn't. And then the tier was watching them, and then the Titans were like, you guys are pretty smart. Do you want to be really smart and also protect the world? And they're like, yeah, sure, whatever. But it's like, how much of it is like, do people know their history is they were just animals that were kind of smart?
Yeah.
At the beginning, which makes it feel really weird. It's like, oh yeah, you're like animals that could literally barely string sentences together, and now you're these like wizened old protectors of the world, and now you're just running around acting like humans and elves and gnomes. Like, interesting. But yeah, for sure.
So that's it for Warcraft topics. There's a little bit though to talk about with 6.1.
Because 6.1 fucking owns. But yes.
Yeah, this is one of the best patch first impressions I've ever had in an MMORPG.
It's one of the, I'd say maybe Vampire Survivors, because that's a bit different, but it's probably one of the best patches of anything I've ever played. It's amazing.
This content is just, it's all 10 out of 10.
There's well, I'll say the Endsinger extremes maybe closer to 8, but yeah.
There's more. It's all very good.
It's extremely good.
It's all very to extremely good.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, like, sure, maybe 3.5 hours is what MSQ took for me, including doing the dungeon.
Yeah. Not much, but...
So it's not the longest, sort of like, I guess, in the middle. But it was really, really enjoyable. And it wasn't time-gated at all. So I sat down and I played the story.
Well, technically it's time-gated because there's more story that they haven't put yet.
Yeah,
That'll be 2 weeks, but it's not time-gated. It's literally, here's this quest line, finish it. Here's like this story bit, finish it. We'll add another story section from a different story.
Yeah, but like the Towers Grand Endeavor is not an MSQ.
Yeah, it's not MSQ yet.
So like for the main story that's like pushing the A plot forward, you just sit down and do the whole thing. And that just feels good.
Yeah.
It means, they can have pacing. Right? So I really enjoyed it. Pacing as in actually pacing out the story. Yeah. Not pacing as in, you pace yourself reading that book. You wouldn't want to be finished that book too quickly.
Oh, no.
Right? Which is how Warcraft paces its stuff. Pacing as in, here's a story, enjoy it over 3.5 hours, and it will be a well-paced story.
Yeah.
So, they fucking slayed it brilliant on the new story. And new role quest, lots of content there. Me and Matt haven't done that yet.
Yeah, that's because I would have to go do all the role quests I've done healer and melee. I would need to do ranged, caster, and tank. And I'm like, that is a lot of like questing. And the amount of emotional time to recover I needed after the healer one was pretty heavy. Just because it's like, here's a main character, especially because it's a character that I'd really like, that had like a load of like, I guess, imagine the Sylvanas story, but good in a way. But yeah, that kind of thing where just a great bit of a character stuff. So I'm almost afraid to do the rest. Just like in random evenings, I'm like, fuck, I need to prepare myself like mentally for this because it's good as shit. But yeah.
Yeah, so then we move to the Dungeon Trials and Raids. Okay, so first thing, the New Alliance raid is fucking incredible. These fights are all like, if you were to compare them to Sepulchre, which I think was a very strong raid, these are all
they mog Hollanders hard.
Yeah, these are better.
They're so good, man.
They're better. Experientially, they're better than Sepulchre encounters. They're just, you know what? They have the cool factor. They have the fucking scale. Right? Yeah. Like, even in the first fight against your man, the Builder, you're like the actual platform you're on, these fucking hammers spawn. They move the platform from underneath you, but then he does like a big line attack.
Yep.
But because the platforms are going to move before the line attack happens, you've got to position yourself so you can dodge the line attack after the hammers have moved the platform. And it's like, there's just so many extremely satisfying things. And then, you go up to fight Relgar and you fucking go, whoom, like up this humongous statue fighting in this like massive fist.
Which is from the Stormblood trailer.
Yep. And it's, again, a really cool fight. The actual geometry, which is not something they usually do. The geometry of the actual, fight where, like, the space in his fingers, those are actually really important for mechanics.
That's one of the things that's interesting. They have really, like, I'd say it a couple times. Like, I know the Shinryu fight did it, but a lot of the times they're like, people have a lot of criticism of the arenas being, here's a square, here's a circle, and now immediately in here they go, and it's a box that's changing on you all the time. Stuff's falling out from underneath you, and the other one is like, you have to actually be knocked back to the right place. You're like, that's a really cool evolution.
And even for the first two fights, the level of spectacle absolutely fucking destroys anything they've almost ever done in World of Warcraft.
Yeah. And
the sheer spectacle of these fights is massive.
Let's thinking about what I called. Thinking about Torque says Ralgor punching a meteor midair. Literally one of the mechanics, right, is this dude has two rings, one to his left, one to his right. And they're like, there's massive versions of the same color behind him. He like winds up to punch through one of them, either right or left, and there's a meteor falling down in front of like the big rings. So you have to go, okay, which one's he punching? Which one's the meteor coming down on? If he punches the meteor is about to land and do like AoE damage that falls off a distance. If he punches the meteor, he shatters it into loads of different AoEs that you have to dodge. And if he punches the other one, you have to like stay away from the meteor. But also his fist is also a line AoE. So it's this incredible experience of just, holy shit, I have to pay attention to this. Not pay attention to the UI telling you stuff, not paying attention to cast bars. It's literally, you have to watch the boss's fist, and then you have to watch where the meteor's falling down. Yeah. And it's just this incredible experience that you just don't look because you're too busy trying to line up your mug and trick window and get killed and feel like an idiot.
Good man. The first fight, awesome. The second fight, awesome. For the ones that we actually did far more of because we didn't get fucking confused over thinking it was time to go and, wipe and go again. Yeah. The third boss, you want a lot of fire?
Azema, I literally saw, obviously, I liked it more because Azema's the warden's my character sign that I picked all those years ago, but I thought that was just cool. But also, I saw a meme today that was, the fucking weird wants to be dominated, will dominate you, I'll ask you to go gentle, something stupid happens meme. There's one of those, but the other three bosses were like the first three, and then it just plays Red Sun from Metal Gear Rising, which is all like when the wind is slow, when the fire is hot. Oh, how pretty. The vulture waits to see what rots. Oh, how pretty. The scenery, this is nature's sacrifice. But it's all about the scorching desert, the heat, the flame. It's just playing over a video of people dying to that triangle fire blast mechanic that Azema does, and it's fucking incredible. The spectacle is insane.
And then the fourth fight again is just awesome.
Yeah,
I was
Melthal, man. Fuck.
I was blown away by the quality of these fights. Like, they are all so interesting. They
made Thal's balls a mechanic. They're like, here's a funny swear word we invented. Also now 10 years later, it's a mechanic. Have fun.
Yeah, and just the scale. I mean, you can't comprehend it if you've only played Warcraft.
Oh, you can't know.
The feeling of scale that you get in these fights, it feels truly epic. It doesn't feel like a team strategic excellence test. It is just a massive video game experience. They are so strong. So this new Alliance raid is absolutely beautiful. And the music as well. The music is so good.
I mean, I don't know. Anyone who follows me on Twitter, I basically had a massive fucking positive meltdown earlier because I was listening to the vocal song from Nalthal and thinking, this song's a prayer song for the patron city or the patron deity of the startings of one of the starting cities in the game. The literal lyrics of the song that's playing during this boss fight are all about what that god does to them, or what they think he does, and also how it is like the founding myth for the city, how it engages with themes at the city that you see as you're leveling up through there. As you go through MSQ, you get all these like upper class monetarist kind of capitalism can go wrong stuff, and this song is about like avoiding that and how to avoid it and how to live like a full life without money. What it was is like, maybe we want more than coin can buy. Never one's river run dry. And you're like, fuck, this is so good. How have you literally made me stop and think about the song lyrics of a boss of a raid? Fucking amazing.
Yeah. This Alliance raid is such an achievement.
It's honestly incredible.
Yeah, it is. It is so fucking good.
Absolutely.
I mean, yeah, it's like, oh, apparently I've locked my laptop. Like, I really like Calandris.
Yeah.
But it's just like the sheer level of scale and spectacle and holy fuck, this is hype. Just elevates it another bit because games, they are more than just their mechanics.
Yeah, they're the whole point of a video game is to make you feel something. Because otherwise, you can have like mechanical challenges, sure, but it's all about the feeling you get from them. That's what makes them really strong. That's what like World of Warcraft back in the day, classic, was this like great adventure you went on. You had all these like, the weight of adventure when you went into Molten Core and with 39 other people was amazing. And I was like, it wasn't because it was like a really fun game, because everyone knows classic was shit, mechanically speaking, in a bunch of ways. Obviously, it was great in some, whatever else, but
MC, I think,
yeah,
the most of
it's that case of like it wasn't very good in hindsight, but it made you feel really cool, made you feel great, and that's the thing where it's like, can you learn this? Is it a little bit kind of just spectacle over, I guess, substance sometimes? Yeah, but you feel fucking great the whole time.
Yeah. So. New Line Sprayed, very delicious. The Extreme I haven't done, you have done.
Yeah, no, it is definitely, compared to some other extremes that have a lot more stuff in them, a lot more like variety, it's a little bit boring, but it is just it's the big trial. It is absolutely gorgeous to fight. It's harder than some Savage fights, which is great. It's really intense, and my parse is now 19, which shows how good I am at playing Ninja. It's the first extreme.
Wow, you're playing a hard extreme on the fucking job for Parse Fiends.
Yeah, well, yeah. I'm playing the hardest melee job with less gear than people going in from like Savage and stuff would have. I'm on like 587, I think. And also, it's my first time progressing an extreme or any fight as Ninja. But it was like, fuck, man, it's so good. You know what it is? It is a proper brain tingler. I like the amount of times like you have to think about mechanics. You'll have like 4 mechanics happening, and then it'll wind back each of these mechanics individually by either 1, 2, or 3 stages, and then you have to try to remember which one happened when and be in the right place at the right time. Oh, no. Sometimes personally, sometimes the groups. It is fucking wonderful. It's so good.
Then actually the ARR duty changes are great. So there's a few people in chat saying, hey, we won't have plot spoilers. But yeah, good news if you're just progressing in A Realm Reborn right now, because the end of A Realm Reborn is now really good.
Oh.
Big noise.
Yeah, so I queued in with 3 other people to do the new last trial of ARR. Holy shit. It's outside of 2.0, like literally the MSQ taking a very, very, very long time. It's honestly, if they can fix up some of like the pacing there maybe a little bit, maybe add some content.
Yeah, I think they should.
Yeah, this will now be the new player experience for FF14 will be fucking incredible. The Port of Decamana was just so fun. They basically went, yeah, we designed this 10 years ago and it's shit. What if we redesign it now with all of the years of knowledge we have? And they did it, and it feels, it's fun. I look forward to main scenario roulette now. That's how good it is. It's wonderful.
And apparently, the other fights, so the ultimate weapon fight, and
that's the ultimate weapon fight I was doing. Yeah, the Port of Decumana. Yep.
Praetorium's like it's actually good now.
Praetorium is it's still a little bit long, but it's shorter, and they redesigned it so all of the you don't fight anything for like 5 minutes because you just run past and teleport. All of that's gone.
Yeah, so all of that.
All of the older dungeons, or a lot of the older dungeons that were like confusing and kind of like multifaceted, and you get lost, and there were bad experiences because everyone just ran right through. Gone, just corridors, which is kind of annoying. I think kind of annoying philosophically because dungeons were interesting, but definitely way better now for the game. It is now way better.
Apparently the solo dude at the end is really good too.
Yep.
So yeah, they've done a good job. I'd say and this would be a lot of development work.
Yeah.
If only they were able to kind of redo some like, I know this is a bunch of work, but if you could go to A Realm Reborn and you could revoice it with the same voice actors as the rest of the game. And I do think I know some people are like, oh, I like some of the old voice actors, whatever, but it's like, I think a consistent experience for the new players is ideal. Let's also be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, like Minfilia's voice acting, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
It's like,
honestly,
Nanamo,
yeah,
that voice, like some of the voice acting is fucking horrendous.
Yeah.
In ARR, so I really do think that revoicing some of that stuff would make a lot of sense. I would also wonder, are there bits of the story they could just simplify, fix up, get the pacing to be better? Because really, once you get the new players into Heavensward, stuff's good.
Yeah,
it might have a bit of a slow time with Stormblood, but like, past that, everything's like Alphino. I think was. I mean, I prefer Alphino now, but Alphino and Roban, I think we're solid enough in ARR.
Yep, no, I think that's probably definitely on their, like, we would love to do this at some point, but we have to find the time for it or the resources, because like what they've done with the dungeons and stuff, it's literally night and day. Like all of the worst experiences you could possibly have in Final Fantasy 14 trying to play it now in 2.0, like trying to play through like the early content, the worst moments are now some of the best. They've literally went, this was fucking abysmal and would ruin your entire experience. No, it's a fantastic experience. Please enjoy it. It's so good. So good.
That's what Xanath just said. Going through calls and hearing old Alizé VA felt so wrong.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even know what old Alizé sounds like, and I never want to hear it again.
It's not. It was definitely not great.
Whoa.
It wasn't.
Well, then, of course, there's also the job changes, so,
Rip Weebs, Kaita, and get fucked.
Yep.
It's sad. It's sad.
Yeah, so that seems like maybe, I think just the look in Yoshi P's face as he looked at chat as they rebelled, as they were going through the live patch notes, I think he knows.
Yeah, literally people joking, but like, stop being mad at changes, you've made Yoshi P cry. It's like I don't know if he literally did in that stream, but he definitely was like, fuck, have we fucked up with these changes? Shit. So they might reverse it, maybe.
Yeah, then for Dark Knight and White Mage, apparently good stuff.
Oh yeah, White Mage, sorry you have a load of mana problems. Hey, we fixed it by fixing your job's design in general with a small couple tweaks. DPS neutral, fantastic.
Yeah, we've then got basically the timing for the jump and Dragoon is faster, so they can be in less stuck in sticky situations.
Oh yeah,
that's
which
good.
Honestly, that's like a good addition, but it's mostly funny. One of the first things I did in the patch shop was like, okay, there's the training dummy outside our house, striking dummy, I should say, Dragoon, jump, and it's literally just like, chung, chung. It's great.
Now for the real, this has all been pretty slapping so far, but Crystalline Conflict, my videos on that's coming out like Tuesday, I think. Crystalline Conflict is a fucking crowning achievement. So every single job is completely redesigned for PvP.
Yeah.
Massively simplified in terms of button count, but there still is loads of depth within that. Like a good example for me with Red Mage, my one is just my basic ranged combo.
Yeah.
Now the thing is, I can switch between White Shift and Black Shift. So generally speaking, if I'm in White Shift, things are like a little bit more healy. If I'm in Black Shift, they're a bit more damagey.
Yeah.
So, I have all of that on my, in my case, on my one key, right, for just my range combo. Then you've got your whole melee combo, which is, it's the 3 melee hits and then a ranged finisher, right? So that's there for your melee. And then 3 is resolution, which has been taken out of the end of that combo, is now its own ability on its own, but now it's a skill shot. It just goes in front of your character, now it's a skill shot. So you're kind of doing all that, but like it's a skill shot. But if you're in White Shift, it will silence. If you're in Black Shift, it will root. The end of your melee combo does like a whole bunch, I think, of AoE damage, like strong AoE damage in Black Shift, but in White Shift, it's a bit of damage, but then a heal for your allies.
Interesting.
Right, so it's got that going on.
You're a proper hybrid then, sweet.
Yeah, then I can like leap into combat with one of my core.
Yeah.
And then I can use disengagement to like fucking backflip out of combat, but that also triggers manification, which regens my mana bar so I can fill up my health again. So for me, it's just like, you're darting in and out of combat, and the thing is, it is so fucking fast paced because the normal jobs just wouldn't work in PvP.
No, this glitch will be terrible.
In the way that somebody could just like You know those people who just go and they just like play Call of Duty for 10 hours?
Yeah.
That's like what Crystalline Conflict is.
That's what I did yesterday.
Yeah, it's just an amazing, super fun PvP mode that has a solo queue rank. I mean, it's all solo queue because they don't want people to go in a pre-made and stomp.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, eventually like a duo queue or something would be nice, but I understand why they've done it the way they've done it.
Yep. Well, I mean, queue times are fast enough that what we've been doing is literally counting down to click the join thing together, and then we're not sometimes in different teams, sometimes in the same team, but that's been fun. Where I think it was me and Matt were destroying Nikki yesterday. Absolutely, just he's in the back line, he's gone. But yeah, no, I've been playing Ninja in CC. I've also been playing a little bit of Dragoon, a little bit of Bard. Ninja's so cool. It's amazing how they've done that. They just go, here's all of your tools that you understand as a ninja and have as a ninja. Rework for PvP. So instead of Huton, instead of being like here's your cast and attack speed GCD reduction, it's like a movement speed buff. So you can actually get faster, because getting places faster is a better thing in PvP. Meisui, instead of being a bunch of Ninki for your resource, it's a bunch of healing. And you just feel incredible having like just enough access to your resources. You can jump in on top of people with your like stuns. You have all the same tools, but in 6 buttons instead of like 24. And it feels fucking amazing. Yeah. It's so good.
And it's like the simplification, or no, I wouldn't say simplification. I mean, when I say reduction,
the condensation.
Yeah, it's like when I say reduction, I mean reduction as in cooking. Like, you reduce the sauce and then it's delicious. Yeah. Well, that's essentially done. You
can just snort Ninja now instead of having to drink it like soup.
they've basically like tripled down on the core job fantasy in such a successful way. And then of course everyone's got their limit break, which is basically like an ultimate. So it's almost like this MOBA / battle right.
Yeah.
Ification of the classes, but still in an MMO.
Yeah.
In a mode that is TLDR, it's basically payload with 5-minute matches that have overtime, so it's done really quick, and you can just queue, just keep on going. It is super good.
Yeah, they've straight up went for, it's almost the same thing they did with like Praetorium, where it's like worst feature, best feature. It's like no one liked PvP, no one's playing it, it's shit, there's no queue times, even when we juice the rewards, no one plays it, fuck it, we'll rework it. And now it's just everyone's logging in like, I know you're a great game for story, but fuck your MSQ, I'm playing Crystalline Conflict. That's what I've seen a lot of people be like, it is. I think it's absolutely indicative of the fact that they literally like their workman-like approach of just going, we will do this good this time. We've fucked this up so hard so many times, we have to do it good eventually. And they just kind of did. But also in the way they weren't attached to anything. They're like, yeah, we work every job, fuck it. Yeah, completely rework how PvP works. Yep, sure, no problem.
And like what's incredible to me is, what they've done with the core gameplay and these job changes means that like, give me a CTF, give me a multi-point King of the Hill. Yeah. Like, just give me fucking game modes from other, like, I don't know, from fucking Halo and put them in here, and they will be super fun, I feel. Because the core combat is just so enjoyable.
It's great.
So I really think they have a humongous potential to basically have PvP be a game within a game. Yeah. Wow.
There was wow. Yeah, there was a way I saw it described that I want to find. I want to see who it was, but I remember what they said. They said it was basically if Dota heroes were all in a knife fight on meth. I'm sorry, I literally can't find who said that. But that's exactly what it's like. It's just completely. It's so fast. It's so insane. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
And it's amazing that they've done that.
They
managed
just like from shit to 10 out of 10. That's, I mean, there's a few issues, but it's incredible. So yeah, what an achievement. And certainly if you have enjoyed Warcraft PvP, get to level 30 in Final Fantasy, try Crystalline Conflict. You don't need to do much of the story. You can get to level 30 pretty damn quick, and you'll probably have a really good time in Crystalline Conflict. It is, I mean, just for a mode addition to a game, it is one of the best I have ever seen. It is that successful.
I'm still kind of in awe. I'm still in awe. It's like,
yeah, it is.
Can't do it in free trial? Oh, that's sad.
That's a pity.
I'd hoped you could.
That would have been nice.
But you only need your job crystal, which you get at 30.
Oh yeah, unlike Warlow.
Yeah, where you need to be maxing and have a load of gear.
Gear doesn't matter. The gear doesn't matter. You don't like all that you need is, as you said, is the job stone. So as an example,
Yeah.
I could just level another job up to 30.
Yep.
Right? And as soon as I'm level 30, I can just go and do this mode. Isn't that great? I mean, if I just want to think to myself, Dragoon, and maybe I just want to experience the core fantasy of Dragoon to see, is this a fantasy that I actually would enjoy? So then maybe I want to go and fully level up the big thing.
Yeah.
Then I can just go play it in Crystalline Conflict. And while I'm doing it, I'll be leveling it up because you actually get XP. It's not a lot of XP.
You get about, for at least Dragoon at level 52 was getting, I think it was about 4% for a loss, 8% for a win. So I put an evening in, I got a level, which is pretty slow. But, well, maybe about an hour and a half to get a level, which is fairly slow, but works.
Yeah. So I think we've been saying this a bit internally, just like if they maybe had some sort of roulette or daily or something that would give you a bunch of XP, I think that'd be great for encouraging people to try out different jobs to get like a nice chunk of XP. But overall, it is an incredible achievement. They have fucking nailed it. And wow. In terms of reviving a gameplay niche within a game, this is maybe the best a developer has ever done.
Yep.
That's not even an exaggeration in this case.
It's really not.
That's what's shocking. So I think the Warcraft devs should really look at this and maybe have a bit of a think about why it feels really good. That's actually another thing too. You see the rewards in this?
Oh, yeah.
I get Tomestones of Aphorism. Now, for all the WoW people, basically you've got, I'll just put it this way. You have Valor points and Justice points. You get a small amount of both for doing Crystalline Conflict.
Yeah, on a max level job, but yeah.
Yeah. Yes, true, when you're max level. Yeah. So I would say imagine, right? Well, imagine if you just felt, I've got to get some Valor points to cap for the week, but I'd rather do this.
Let's do it.
You can just do it, right? You're not sitting there being like, I should do a bunch of dungeons so that I can get enough, VP to cap for the week. No.
Do this.
You can just do this. So you never really feel in FF like you're being punished for doing the activity that you want because of the reward system. And that's why it's really smart.
Yeah, basically never. As long as it's current content or in the roulette, yeah. It's like you just get loads of stuff for doing everything. You can just cap out your weeklies by doing whatever you want. It's wild.
Yeah.
It's wild. And then, people are saying to talk about the battle pass. There's a battle pass there, but it's literally just
no premium aspect.
Yeah, no premium whatsoever. Yeah, basically you get like a series XP, and you get or a series level. You get so much XP. You progress through this track, and the rewards you get are trophy crystals, which you trade in for not like actual gear, but like gear that's for glamour. That is old job sets that have been upgraded to look way better, and are all completely dyeable, and that's how much is I'm trying to think. I've put maybe when did the patch come out? Yeah, I've put maybe 2 full evenings into PvP so far, and I can almost afford a full job set.
Nice.
Because it slows down a little bit over time. But then there's also the full set of Bolvar gear, which is just very Lich King inspired stuff that you get from maybe a couple weeks, but the season lasts 3 months. And also when the season goes away, you can buy all the battle pass rewards from the last season for in-game currency as well. It's wild. It's just that thing of you look at rank 25. Yeah, you just look and go, that's the way every other game should do it. Cool. I like that. Also the Garo stuff's back as well, and the Garo sets look fucking incredible. They're so damn good. Goddamn.
Yeah. So man, just some great stuff.
It's hard to it's hard to really put into terms how much this is effectively almost everything about this PvP. Just think of how people on Twitter use Giga Chad. That for every aspect.
Yeah, that's it.
Literally just shows up, mogs every other game dev in existence, leaves. That's how it feels like. It's fucking mad. Yeah, it's mad.
It's just incredible. And then for some of their systems things, so the adventurer plates are really fun. You can basically make a custom portrait for your character, including custom, what emote you want to do, the facial expression of your character, the angle of the camera. You can then customize what's on your adventurer plate, the actual background of the plate. You can unlock different ones.
Yeah, from
brilliant
PvP
feature.
And stuff, yep.
So of course this is how it's being used.
Yeah.
So
there is definitely a very spicy one if you scroll a bit further down. Oh, hang on, I have not on the fucking camera.
I'll say right.
Sorry, I wasn't on the
let's
camera.
Remove,
show them again.
Let's remove Matt.
Yeah.
I mean, here, see where my mouse is? Yeah. This is like a standard adventure plate. Same for this, Oh, look,
Yeah.
that's a funny angle.
Yeah.
Here's Matt.
I included that one because it was like there's symmetry for you. But
Oh, yeah, that's very
scroll up to
satisfying.
show them the top one again. There you go. There you go.
Quality.
Yeah.
Some quality content.
There is a real grim one below, so
Ah, yes.
you know that one.
So here's the thing. Now this is like, of course, their
Yeah.
character's called Mating Press. Fucking hell. So
Yeah.
the technically the rule set for this feature. Don't want to piss off the chat because he's just
Yeah.
holding like the staff
it's a
of
weapon,
a weapon.
yeah, it's a weapon,
That's the
yeah.
staff of a weapon and a funny camera angle.
Yeah.
But like basically what they tried to do to, because look, what would people normally do? They would point the camera at crotches. They would point the camera at the boba. We all know this. So
Yeah.
they basically had a rule that says like your character's like face has to be in the screen. And I think, you know, bless them, maybe they thought it would mean that this would be the thing that people
Yeah.
could do. No, of course people have just went and got creative. So
Yeah.
there's some of the creative use of the new adventurer plate
Yeah.
system.
ERP
Very-
ERP business cards. Yep, that's
Yeah.
exactly it. That's exactly what it is.
Oh dear, yeah. Yoshi P is crying, asking if the FF fan base could just, why can't you be normal?
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
Yeah, big Limsa moments all around. So look, I mean, honestly, okay, technically their TOS does say that there should be a reasonable level of decency in all of these
yeah,
things.
yeah.
So people are always going to violate that. But it's funny. It's fucking funny. But actually, the feature's really cool. Like, let's just say you want your character to be a PvP turbo slayer, so you want to give them some really edgy, dramatic lighting and a really badass pose. You can do that. If you want your character to be really cutesy, you can do that. You can do whatever the hell you want. It's a really cool feature. Imagine, right, if you had like a little, you know, card for your WoW character where you can pose your character and select their, you know, their animation and their facial expression and take like a cool little, you know, portrait photo and do all of those things. Like, it's just a nice little thing of player, you know, expression.
Yeah.
For other things then, we've got the new residential district Imperium. We have got Dream Fitting, which is basically previewing store items, but they have relegated it to just the bed in the inn. So the shop is not in the game.
Yeah.
We've got the Unending Codex, which is a lore codex that's bulked out. And then what's really cool is that's not it for the content.
Yeah.
Because we've got Tataru's Grand Endeavor, which is a side quest series that is going to be starting in 2 weeks, well, a week and a half now. We've got the new Omega quests, which are a follow-up from the incredibly strong Omega raid series quest line. We've got a new Hildebrand adventure. We've got the new tribal quests for Arcus Adara, which is basically like a classic WoW reputation, basically. We've got the Emiliance Lavier custom deliveries. And of course, the new Ultimate Raid that is coming out in a week and a half as well, which is basically it's like 3 fights chained together and pumped full of steroids.
Yeah, it's just a 20-minute fight of just
There's going to be a fucking more plates, more dates, fucking natty or not, fucking episode on the Ultimate Raid.
Damn right.
That's like that tier of we have given this juice and now it's crazy.
Yep, that's going to be absolutely insane.
Oh yeah, here's an actual adventurer.
Yeah,
plate.
so this is just to kind of show off. Like you can highlight what times you're available to play. You put your message. It's from the view search thing. You put your favorite job. You put the activities you do. So it can literally be you see someone, you're like, you right click them, go, oh, they look interesting. It's like, oh yeah, they main sage and they are like a ultimate raider, or you can get someone else because that person's just an RPer, or there's a PvPer, stuff like that, which is really cool, honestly.
Yeah, it's just a quick little way to let your fellow players know who you are and maybe just, have a bit of character in.
Yeah.
So it's just really cool. It's a brilliant feature. And so that's it for 6.1. There's, of course,
What a fucking patch.
I mean, there's probably a few hours or whatever in all of the role quest stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
There's probably a decent number of hours and many hours in all of this content as well. So it's the sort of thing where, there's ways where it feels smaller than a WoW patch. But it's like what we've got, everything so far, other than Kaiten being removed, has been top shelf, top quality.
Yep.
No drawbacks, no ifs, no buts.
4 months after the expansion.
Yeah, 4 months after the expansion. So, let's just say, okay, imagine you're really enjoying the new WoW patch and its storyline. You play it for 40 minutes, then you stop and you have to wait till the next week.
Yeah.
And you feel like then, oh, okay. Maybe what you would have wanted to do is say, okay, you know what? It's a Saturday. It's raining outside. Just been to the bakery. I've got some tasty things. Got a pot of tea. You know, some cozy situation that is perfect for just playing an RPG.
Oh, that's...
With how they make World of Warcraft, you literally cannot do that unless you're leveling, right? And I think there's times where the narrative hits a lot better when, you know, you can play it in a 4-hour chunk. You know, because I mean, imagine if, like, say, Mass Effect was just, you get to play this bit this week or something. You know, you have to play a proper chunk of content, you know, sit down and get into it. And you just can't do that in WoW. Even if WoW's story is incredibly great and they manage to have a story that on paper is as good as an FF story, which, I mean, let's be real, won't happen. But
I mean, to be honest, like the amount of development studios that could do that, you'd struggle to count. Like, you struggle to count above 0, honestly. Like,
plus, like, they haven't developed characters over a long enough time for that to even be possible for Warcraft anyway.
I mean, that's even the thing that I had that big thought whenever I was like listening to the lyrics. It was like, holy shit, this is like the starting city that I played first with. I think I may have started Gridania the first time I played FF back in 2012, but still, like, you know, 9 years ago, I started Nulda as a Marauder, and I remember that city. I remember everything about it, everything that's happened in that city, the characters, you know, Nanamo, Raban, all the characters that mean something, all of the jobs that have the guilds there, all that stuff, all, like, basically the song, like, just tapped into this massive, rich history of world. So that's the thing where, they've just done this shit for 10 years, so
it's like,
how can you compete?
Some of the point there, though, is that in WoW, World of Warcraft really sacrifices the day one experience of a patch. Massively sacrifices, because, you know, you may get, you know, a little bit of the content, and then you got to go and do, like, whatever the daily flows of the zone, and, like, that's it. Whereas here, you know, the downside of the FF thing is, okay, sure, I have no more MSQ to play until 4 months passes. Thankfully, there's a lot of other narrative content coming, so that is good. But, you know, with WoW, you do have that little drip feed of the content. But with this, it's like, because you sit down and you just have a great experience, you're like, okay, great. Patch day was there. I really enjoyed the story. I am very happy and very satisfied. And that's just super important for a game to actually deliver. And the format in WoW with the time gating means they just can't do that. So I think that's one pretty important thing. And then as well, you know, the raid just unlocked. You just go do it. It's done. Okay. I'm going to keep on doing it because it's really fun. So it's like, sure, it's front loaded, and I think technically speaking, you could just play, you know, 5 evenings in a row and be like, all right, I'm done with 6-1. I'll wait till next time and unsub. And they're fine with you doing that.
For sure.
And what it means is you can just sit down, get a brilliant experience, be very happy for it. I mean, an experience that is absolutely worth the cost of 1 month sub. And then you can come back for the next one. Or if you want to get the glams and do all the things, you can keep on playing. So it's like, the thing number one is, how will people feel when they stop playing?
Yeah, and I don't know if there's ever been a time I've, like, logged out of FF and went, well, fuck that. Honestly, I'd say maybe, I think maybe a couple times where, like, a fight hasn't gone so well, maybe, but honestly, mostly just, that was a good day of video game.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
So there's just lessons to learn here about how that day one patch experience is super, super strong. And that just fundamentally leaves you satisfied by the game, you know. So,
oh man, well,
there you go. Yeah, no, they've nailed it. Right, to finish us off then, in terms of things, just a little bit for this week's videos in case you've missed them. So we've got our TLDR of kind of like the biggest questions that people have had from the Sylvanas book. We have our big, 40-minute deep dive into Sylvanas. What sword? I don't know. Seems fake. We've then got our jump into the statistics of patch 9.2 in terms of player numbers, which was more interesting than I thought it would be. On the other channel then, we have my MSQ video. Big, and it was. The new MSQ was very fucking excellent.
Big. Yep.
Diving into Guild Wars 2 then. Diving into Guild Wars 2, just a little bit of the state of that game. There's actually some really good news that I think people will be happy about. You know, they had a lull, they had some rough times, but they've actually managed to double their players in the last, few years, 1 year? I forget. But that's really, good for the health of this game.
Yep, big.
Over in the news channel, then, we have got the corruption allegations being leveled at Activision, which are, rumbly, to say the least. We've got a little bit of a dive into monetization. Hearthstone's getting a bit extreme. There are some warning signs, I think, for Diablo Immortal as well.
Yep, big time. Big time. It's just the Trojan horse of monetization is on its way, sadly.
Yep.
Sadly.
We've then got a little bit of the nuclear option that Microsoft could pull if they really wanted to.
Yep.
Basically, some polling numbers about what would actually convert people to Game Pass.
Yep.
And actually interesting numbers.
It's all Activision.
The game the video that we put out today, CD Projekt Red's future. Because you know what? They've certainly had a rumbly time, but with a shift to UE5 and a few more things, they're trying to set themselves up for a very strong future.
Absolutely.
Diving into GOG, which has went back to good old games. So really, they're going to be focusing more on the game preservation side, which I think is some good shit. Then we've got a funny little thing where a server's just having issues and it's obliterating people's games.
Sorry, you can't play Chrono Cross because problem.
Yep, because apparently your license expired the 31st of December, 1969.
Fantastic.
That's currently happening in PSN, but hopefully we'll get that fixed.
Yeah, so I will say there's just one thing on the upcoming video, because I think it was a KW was in stream or in chat asking or saying that he or they wished that you had played classic FF games so you would know who the characters in the 6.1 MSQ are. And don't worry, I know.
He does.
There's a video almost finished writing about it that'll be with you in the next 2 weeks at some point, depending on how the expansion goes next week.
We have got you covered.
Yep, absolutely. I actually thought it was the wrong character at the start. I thought it was my good friend Jack, but it was not, in fact. I got a little bit too overhyped after playing Stranger of Paradise.
Yeah.
But no, it turns out it was actually a completely different set of characters from the game that Endwalker is based on.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Now then, to finish us off, we've got this one's Patreon, which we're back in the podcasts. Yep. So there's another one coming out, I think Tuesday. I believe.
Tuesday's the plan.
And then also the loot. So loot for this month is a little bit more than normal. Of course, it's a class card. Very yummy. I should have this on my person Monday.
Nice.
So I can actually, sort of take some pics for everybody. So we got that. We got our environment. We've, which of course, there's things going on in the back. There's things. Basically, these are coming out in 4 sets of 3, sort of a little bit of a narrative through line between them. The team are having a lot of fun. We, of course, have the enamel pin for the Kelpie. And then, for the Pale Beyond, we have got, our key art card. We have, key art card, as well as some, development stuff for the Temperance, and also some stuff for, I've zoomed in a lot.
Yep.
There we go. For Kurt.
You don't want people to
Some
have
concept
you don't
art.
want people to have early access to some of the text they can see.
And of course, if you want to
me.
check out the Pale Beyond, hey, you can grab it in Steam. Now, also, podcasts. So me and Jared have got our almost an hour-long lore walking podcast on Lordaeron. That is out as of last week.
Fucking great. I listened to it. It's great.
There's also, for early access videos, the insane, sort of you could think tinfoil hat, but actually it's the only way that Blizzard can explain how Zoval knew all the shit that he knew without having to invent new lore, because I think we've finally connected the dots.
Yeah.
And I don't think anyone really else has actually, or not that many people have thought this through, but it's the one way that Blizzard could explain Zoval's 5D chess stuff without having to invent new lore and without having things being hyper implausible. So there's that video that's out there in early access. I have got 2 behind-the-scenes vlogs coming out over the weekend, and next Tuesday is another lore walking episode.
Yep, absolutely.
So we're back.
Yep.
We're back. And many more podcast episodes to follow. Jared's got, I think 5 or 6 mapped out.
Yep.
Top of what we've already recorded.
Indeed. And just because, I was going to say, Jared, no, because John said, don't forget London. Yeah, I think we talked about this a while ago. Yeah, we're going to go see the Strange Worlds. That's not it. That's something different. The Distant Worlds in London in October. I don't know why you're referencing that now, John, but sure, work away.
As for when the Zoval video is coming out, I'm not 100% sure. Purely because of expansion stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be very busy next week.
Indeed.
There's just stuff with how YouTube works about oversaturating channels is kind of annoying and bullshit. What we're really trying to do is get our production ahead of ourselves so that we have the breathing room to actually, go do shit. Yeah, London's going to be fun.
Yeah.
That'll be a brutal weekend.
Yeah. Because you're not sensing the hype, John. It's in October. It is currently April. Gotta pace ourselves a little bit here, buddy.
Also, Starstreak missiles
Oh yeah.
are partially built in Belfast.
Oh yeah.
So maybe we'll get nuked by then.
Baby.
And me and Matt
Maybe.
will be dust.
Yep, absolutely. Oh, there's something else I wanted to... There's... someone said something. What was it? What ranks are you guys in CC? I have... In terms of ranked rank, I haven't done that yet. I just spam casual because I am a casual. I want to actually feel like I know how to play before I hop into ranked because I'm that kind of person, unfortunately. But yeah, weekly Siri cameo. Yeah, that's the thing. I just keep... well, okay, let's not do it. I just keep raising my wrist and the watch goes. But yep, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Man, so... Okay.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, that's what it was. Yggdrasil said, would you fellas post a bingo card on Twitter? I have a couple other things to do tomorrow, but I will be in the office because of a delivery, so I might actually just fire together a nice... I don't want to just fire it up willy-nilly. I want to make a nice graphic so we can actually, make it look fairly good.
Sexy and stuff.
Yeah, so I'll do that, and then we'll fire it up and see how it goes. So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that's it for the stream. But normally we would say, see you back here same time next week, but we're not saying that.
Nope.
Hey, Caligula, thank you. We will, of course, be here Tuesday. Tentatively in my head, I'm thinking 4:15.
Yeah, 4:15, which is current time, which say right now it's 9:30, 9:30. So adjust for time frame, whatever that is now, but 5 hours ago. It's BST. So yeah.
Yeah. Basically, around an hour before the expansion reveal, we'll begin to be there, and 45 minutes before the reveal, I think that's when we'll hit the live button.
Yep,
So,
absolutely.
We will see you very shortly. It will be very exciting. And yes, Maddie, tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay, right. See you all Tuesday. That's it for me and Matt. Good night.